Hello, all my wonderful people out there, and welcome to another episode of the Mythic Initiative. My name is Chris Cologne, and I will be your keeper for these preceding evenings. With that, and before we get into our episode, let us first introduce our lovely cast, starting off with the lovely C.
Hello, everybody. My name is C. I use they, them pronouns, and you can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet at C Plays RPG. Anywhere that you can go, you will find me there. Tonight, I have the absolute pleasure of playing Eden, who uses they, he pronouns, and is the Shade, disciple of death. Normal, I think, personally. And with that, since Vin is not joining us tonight, I will pass it over to CJ, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you're in control, so you can pass to whoever you want. Hi, everyone. I'm CJ. I don't make art. I'm so sorry for you, but I'm a nuisance. And if you think that I'm cool, funny, hot, sexy, funky, or fresh, you can find me everywhere at Scholastic Dragon. That's Scholastic like the Book of Air, Dragon like the mythical creature. Drop the O on Dragon when you search for me, or you won't find me. I play Vic. That's all you need to know. Let's be honest. They're the hungry. Oh gosh, that's unfortunate. Let me fix that. Yeehaw, gamers. Am I right? We'll fix that. Anyway, I'm not coming up on captions, which makes me a nightmare for anyone that has wants to read me. And I should be now. Thoughts, feelings, opinions. Exactly. None of them matter because I'm the caption lord. Anyway, I play Vic. They are the hungry, and they're actually the most normal this season. So I'm going to pass it to Hamna.
I mean, it depends on your definition of normal. Maybe emotionally speaking, sure. But hi, my name is Hamna. I use they and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer and producer. You can find me all over social media at Lilith TTRPG. And today I'll be playing Misfit, who uses he, they pronouns, who is the summoned, who I would argue is the most normal of the cast, but like in the bad way. He's just a guy now, and it's bad. I don't like it. Anyway, I'm going to pass it over to Chris.
Fantastic. As we said before, Vin will not be joining us today because they're feeling a little bit on the weather. So, we love you, Vin. Hope you get a speedy recovery, and hopefully you'll see him next week. Before we get into tonight's episode, if in case you did not get to see it, those lovely content warnings, if you click !CW in the chat, you will see that this episode in particular contains fantasy violence, apocalypse, gore, blood, familial struggles, zombies, body horror, drug abuse, severe weather, romance, and references to sexual entanglements, monsters and monstrosities, there we go, English, and references to epidemics and diseases and trauma. In case of any of this stuff doesn't float your boat, there is a plethora of wonderful content out there for you to enjoy. With all that in mind, my lovely Mythics, are we ready to start off this week's episode? The shaking hands is a yes, as the camera opens up, not on the Mythics and not on really anything out of the ordinary, but rather a show opening. As we see, again, 80s VCR flickers on, and there's a bunch of dazzling lights, various transitions, as we see with this sort of happy tune in the background, big letters, very fancy, as it says, hopeless in love. As we see what looks like to be a camera shifting over, very grainy-like, over an island somewhere in Georgia. As the camera kind of comes down, this sort of symbol still on the front as it fades away, we see the image of a lovely host. Particularly, we see they have that 80s puffed up brownish black hair, beautiful dark skin, wearing a lovely white dress. As you see, they have a microphone in their hand as they proceed to speak. Hello, all you wonderful people out there, and welcome to Hopeless in Love. My name is Latanya Vincent, people call me Lele, and I will be your host for this truly phenomenal season of Hopeless in Love. In case you are just tuning in to Hopeless in Love, it is a dating show where one lonely bachelor tries to find love among a number of successful or prodigy-like individuals and signals to form a lasting relationship with. We have had a fantastic season and a plethora of fantastic contestants on the show, but we are down to our last selection ceremony tonight. But our last 3 contestants, as you know, and we'll get reacquainted with. But as we like to do things on the show, we like to spice it up a little bit. And with that, we will be doing something to throw one last surprise at our bachelor. But before we get into the big surprise there, we should meet our bachelor once more. With that, everyone, let us get reacquainted with Ponce Perez. As the kind of shifts over, kind of a quick transition, we can see what looks like to be kind of grainy footage of somewhere in New York. Maybe wintertime this was shot in. You can see we're in some sort of like maybe high school lab. We see what looks like to be an individual Hispanic, kind of very slimish figure, maybe about 5'7", very, okay looking, depending on your preference. Sort of brown hair, kind of 5 o'clock shadow. See, he's kind of handing out papers as we hear voiceover happen. We see, hello, my name is Ponce Perez. I am from Suffern, New York, and I am a science teacher at Hillburn High. I was very excited when I got into the show. I've been, my first love is teaching, and, I'm really looking for someone to, connect with, kind of spend the rest of my life with. So I'm very excited to be a part of this show, and I really can't wait to see what comes next. As the camera kind of shifts over, as you can see, this lovely bachelorette has a plethora of, you count them, 20 lovely contestants, which they have narrowed down to 3. If you're wondering who these hunks and hunkies are, let's get reacquainted with them, starting with Clive Hughes. Kind of cuts over, very sporty like music, almost like the NFL beginning. You can see as the footballs kind of get thrown over, you can see an individual sort of catch it mid-air as you see what looks like to be this sort of shirtless individual wearing booty shorts for the time. As you see touchdown, throw it down Top Gun style, as you see they kind of get close to the camera and introduce themselves. Specifically, you can see another Spanish-looking individual with sort of a little bit of a lighter skin tone, brown eyes that are just encapsulating sort of short black hair. And with that, they kind of go up to the camera. Hi, how's it going? Clive Hughes from Manhattan, New York. I am, in terms of my occupation, I am an engineer by day. Kind of cuts to footage of him doing plans for New York City. Currently, the big project is, New York City Hall is what I've been doing. I love basketball and football, and I'm really looking to, settle down with someone. So, I really want to connect with someone and, share a life with, you know what I mean? And kind of cuts over. That was Clive Hughes, but we also have Mizuki Smalls. Kind of cuts over again. We can see shows images of New York. Specifically, we can see what looks like to be like the stock market. Kind of cuts over to an interview section that they have. You see, hi, how you doing? My name is Mizuki Smalls. I'm from Queens, New York, and I am a stockbroker by day. I love to travel. I love meeting new people and, always, getting to experience new things. I'm really looking for someone who's not only as smart as me, but also who's empathetic to my needs, really communicates a relationship, communicates in a relationship, because, it's a pretty big commitment for me, given the work that I do. And he kind of cuts over to that sort of loud stock market of people shouting at each other. And last but not least, Honey Hall, my bad. As they are coming all the way from, you guessed it, New York again. You see kind of cuts over to what looks like to be a restaurant, 5-star kind of renowned place. You see they are currently being shown off right now. You see more of a smallish figure, maybe 5'2", short black hair, very more tannish skin. And you can see that they kind of look at the camera, very messy from their chef robes and kind of go, "Hi, how are you? My name is Hannah Hill. I am from Bronx, New York. I am a chef currently at the renowned restaurant De Culpa. I'm a bit of a cat mom." It kind of cuts over to what looks like to be 3 cats in their room, kind of going all over the place, a little bit messy. I pretty much consider them my children. They're, my love of my lives. But, I really come here thinking that I can find someone else. Really what I'm looking for in a person is not only someone, who has that sort of same love of animals that I do, but, someone who really understands what romance is and, will go the extra mile for me. That's really what I'm looking for here. As you see, it cuts over back to the host. You can see that, as you can see, we have quite the competition. But as we said before, we have a little bit of a surprise, as this last challenge is a new one we're introducing called Wildcards. Kind of cuts over to a boat that's kind of slowly coming over. We have invited 5 more contestants to the island to see if our bachelor is really committed to their choice or will be whisked away by their new lovers. With that, what's that? Sorry, 4 contestants. Apparently one got sick. But let's start off with one that is fresh about, and I'm curious to see, as they cut over not to anybody that we've seen before, maybe once, as we see an individual that we've seen before. Brown, sort of almost like that. Specifically what we've seen before. Not more monstrous, but more human this time. Brown skin, black hair, short beard, scruffy hair, kind of goes up. She goes, "Hello, sugar, what's your name?" She kind of gets very awkwardly towards the microphone. "Hello, my name is Radu Tepesh. I am from Transylvania, Romania. I work for the U.S. government as a diplomat," kind of as in a question. I love to go to the beach, and, I'm really excited to kind of see. I'm really looking for someone who can commit to a little bit of a long-term relationship due to my traveling. Very awkward silence. "Well, it's a pleasure, honey. Excited to have you here." Kind of cuts over. With that, we also have a couple more people here. Next up, if I'm reading this name correctly, a Missy Vote.
Hey, that's Misfit, actually, but that's okay. Lots of people get it wrong.
We could just edit that in post. Don't worry about it, honey. Now, please introduce yourself to our lovely contestants.
1 second. And I think Misfit had specifically requested to the producers that he get like a whole proper entrance, similar to the way that the older contestants are getting one. And so while we're on this boat doing this introduction, Misfit walks over to like back a little bit off. I imagine we're like by the railing, like out, so we can get a nice shot of like the water and the island, I presume, that we're going to. And instead, Misfit walks in the other direction, closer to the deck, and there's a chair set up, just kind of in the middle of it. And Misfit sits down in the chair with their back to the camera, and from above, somebody's like on the cabin, throws a bucket of water down onto Misfit, and he is drenched. He takes off his shirt, so you can see the entirety of his back muscles and his shoulders kind of like rippling, and they like flick their hair and like turn around and they say, "Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. My name's Misfit, and I'm from Vancouver, BC. I think I'm the furthest one that's flown out here. I'm a fitness influencer, and my favorite thing to do is to get my steps in by taking long walks on the beach." And at that, I think Misfit looks over at Radu and kind of like makes eye contact with them. "And why I'm here and Hopeless in Love is I'm looking for a love match who will help me get my heart's gains." And then Misfit winks at the camera.
You see the host kind of go, "Oh, sweet Lord, I can't wait for those Jazzercise videos. I will tell you what, I will buy them in a hot minute. Very pleasant to meet you, Miss Vogt." And kind of shakes your hand, precedes you in the direction. Next up is an individual of what I can only assume of biblical portions. Please welcome Eden.
Hi. Do we really have to fucking do this? Seriously? Why isn't anyone saying anything? I don't care that the cameras are rolling. Okay, hi. My name's Eden. I'm from Southern Florida. Just Southern Florida. Right, yeah, no, I'm a dance teacher. And I love... Fuck, where's the note? Shit. I pull out a little note card and start reading from it. I love long walks on the beach, making sandcastles, and my childhood dog. Who fucking wrote this? Who fucking wrote this? Are you fucking serious?
You can see, it's almost like a quick cut, as it just cuts right quick, and then kind of cuts back after a few moments later.
And I'm looking for my other half in my love match.
Quite a pleasure. As you can see, someone's a little bit nervous, I can tell. And you kind of, elbow shoulder you. Don't worry, we will find you a perfect opportunity to find someone to share your heart with, as they kind of direct you over. With that, we have one more individual. That's right, a very unique name, if I do say so myself. Vicious, is it? As you kind of open it for you.
Yeah, and I think Vic is like hitting one of those paddle balls. I think he had one back in season 1. Vic is hitting a paddle ball talking to someone that does matter, maybe like a producer, so it doesn't cut off. They're like, yeah, I wrote that. Told him that it would be really funny. And then they look and they're like, oh, I definitely saw you there. It's me, Vicious. And I am looking for another partner because I have one and I used to have two. And that's a really complicated thing that I actually can't get into on national TV. But is anyone else hungry? Yeah. What am I supposed to
That is fantastic. Lovely stuff. We do love someone with a bit of a backstory. And kind of whisk you over as the camera kind of shows all of you guys there. As you can see, we have some lovely wild cards, and we can't wait to find someone for our lovely bachelor. Until then, everyone, we're going for a quick commercial break on Hopeless in Love, as they kind of zooms out as we skip a little bit back, maybe a couple days before this, as we find ourselves back at Division HQ. At the moment, you all are in not like a classroom, but kind of like a lecture hall kind of setting. You guys, I don't know if you would still be wearing clothes, if you're still in your hospital kind of robes. Do you guys think you're moving about, or are you guys still kind of impatient at the moment?
Eden refuses to wear the sheets that you're supposed to wear in the hospital, even when they are there. Like, they're still in that setting quite often, but they won't wear the scrubs or anything, so they're dressed for class.
Yeah, I think Vic is actually in some very normal clothes. I think Casey has given her Vic's jacket, because Casey already had one. Vic has multiple, and Casey had one of them. And I think Vic is just wearing a nice nice blue t-shirt that they usually wear, slacks. And if anyone else isn't wearing clothes, Vic is kind of just a little confused about it. But all in all, looking like an average day.
Yeah, I think similarly, Misfit has also changed out. They refuse. They refuse to be in the hospital attire for too long. I think there's a sense of anxiety around them a little bit, that you all probably noticed while we were in the hospital. And I think he was just wanting to get out of there as quickly as possible.
I will say, as you're feeling that anxiety, you do notice your body does kind of shift, almost like a chameleon in a sense. As you can see, it kind of betrays the emotion you feel. With that, as you all are kind of sitting there in the moment, I will say your move, Eden. We should do this. It is the beginning of a new mystery. So with that, if you would be so kind and to roll for your move, specifically if my title is unmistaken here, the Devil's Advocate.
Advocates.
As you're kind of just sitting there, you notice they're reflecting themselves a little bit. As you can see, they're maybe like a mirror or something from one of the things that you see their sort of shadow there.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like maybe like, you know how there are all those like many window panes? I think Eden is looking just like behind the head of whoever's talking into the mirror to see this person. And I will roll just my 2d6. And I'll get 9.
9, I think you
That's a
are
full
good.
hit.
Yeah, you hit it right there. So with that, that specific move there, you get a flashback to a moment when your mentor was pleased with you. So you get to choose 2 of the lovely options there for this meeting. So choose as you will.
Ooh, okay. My choices are they taught you that emotions only get in the way, clear a condition, recognize undercover division agent, recognize the cruel patterns of the apocalypse, declare an irrevocable truth, reveal your destiny as a harbinger, 1 bond, and tested you ruthlessly without mercy. Oh, so I choose 2. So something about this, I think, reveals part of Eden's destiny as a harbinger. So I'll gain 1 bond with what the darkness demands of you. And it is a ruthless, merciless test. So I will also grab another XP.
Fantastic. As you see, they kind of slowly appear, even though nobody's particularly talking. You guys are kind of waiting at the moment, but you see that they kind of appear, and this time taking the form of Iblis, Misfit's father, maybe being coy and whatnot, as you see the voice very familiar come out. Well, well, well. The predicament we have found ourselves in.
I've told you many times I prefer to speak to your true face, if you have one.
Well, that is earned with trust. In this moment, we don't have that. Yet.
Have I not been trustworthy?
You have, but trustworthiness does not equate to trust. You know this better than anyone else.
Fine. What is it that you want to show me now?
I'm not going to particularly show you anything. I'm just curious why you haven't done the thing we've spent so long to work on.
I have told you once and many times again, rituals are for particular moments that should be given at particular times.
Feels like a pretty good time.
Does it? Really? Because we just got attacked and our entire DNA changed from the inside out by a couple of potions and a fucked up robot.
Well, maybe you know who, if brought back, could maybe solve your little sand problem. In my humble opinion.
Is it your humble opinion? Or are you giving me advice?
Maybe a little bit of both. Why not? You know, this ritual would get you very in with a very special someone. As he kind of looks over to Misfoot.
It's for them. It will always be for him. It's not for me or you. Right. I'll do it. Soon. I promise.
I love that word, promise. As you see, kind of relishes in it as the shadows kind of almost flicker a little bit. I shall be waiting. As you see, they disappear ever so slowly. And how is Eden feeling in this moment about that? As that sort of request is becoming more and more frequent.
It's interesting to them. There's something that is turned over in their mind as they wait and listen and think and feel. They want to do it. They approached this figure in the mirror with the request first. And the fact that they are so intent on doing it makes a little twinge of hesitation. Eden doesn't trust anyone, really. But they also know what they want, and they know what they need to get what they want. They just also want to know what that person wants. Because ambition is a driving force.
It is indeed. But
they are ready. And they do want to stay true to their promise.
Fantastic. As that is happening, Vicious, what is going through your mind as you are waiting for the director at the moment and you have just a quick moment to yourself to think? What is particularly going through your head?
Yeah, I think this is one of the first times that Vic is alone. Not alone, I should say. Being able to be alone with their thoughts. I think this is the moment in which we are just... I think Casey isn't around. I think, the others are dealing with their obvious, their literal obvious problems of monstrosity. And I think Vic is just sitting in the chair, anxious. For the first time in a long time. Anxiety is not something that Vic often experiences. Rage, happiness, sadness, but not anxiety. And there's just the thoughts that are going through Vic's head is, why am I not hungry? Why do I feel normal right now? When is it coming back, and what should I do if it comes back again? And I think there's Vic's even touching their neck, and there is a tattoo that wasn't there before that they don't really understand. It is a large, red eye that just sits there, and Vic simply just is wondering and looking around. And instead of maybe reaching out and talking to someone, I think Vic just looks around at this office and tries to get an understanding of what is the division more, past what Casey has told them and who this director is.
We run back to this as we're kind of going through everyone's mind right now. Misfit, what is going through your mind? As you see, Eden seems to be preoccupied, almost like talking to the window. Vic is kind of just aimlessly about. What is going through your mind at the moment as you're waiting for the director to come in and talk with you guys?
Misfit is curious, I think. A little bit unsure of what exactly to expect through all of this, but pushing that kind of uncertainty aside, and is wondering about Radu specifically, because they're here. And, well, last time we met, him and his crew was trying to kill us, do something to the rest of us. And I think that curiosity is getting the better of Misfit, and they keep looking over at him every now and then, clearly not really paying attention if producers come and give him instructions or anything like that. There's it takes them a moment before they actually hear what the producer is saying.
Fantastic. So that's kind of the present day, and right now kind of cut back to kind of before you get to the island. As you guys are all waiting, you see the doors finally open. Again, this is very college setting. You can see it's almost like rows that kind of descend. They start from the top and descend down. Very circular. It kind of comes in almost like a vanilla folders in his hand. He kind of pops it down. Kane walking in kind of goes, hi everyone. How are you guys feeling today? I notice you guys are checked yourselves out, kind of. Just want to see if everything's all right.
I've said this once already, and I'll say it again. It's probably best that you don't ask how we are, Director. Generally speaking.
I know it can be a difficult change, but I just want to let you all know I am here to help. I know that's not a word you're accustomed to, but I am generally here to help.
Fortunately, I think we believe you, which only makes this a lot more, only makes it worse. Director, was it?
Yes, you can just, for prosperity's sake, you can just call me Ryan, if it makes it easier for you guys.
That makes it a lot. I don't want to humanize you right now. I barely know you. I'm gonna call you director.
You see, especially with you can particularly see it a little bit more. The rest of you can. You see Aussie pops up. Hello, Ryan. Before they kind of take a seat. You can see they have like almost in a sense of like they've kind of schoolified themselves. They don't understand the concept of school, so they're in like a graduation cap and gown for some reason, as they think that's the way to go here. And they sit down, ready to learn.
In a celebratory mood, are we? I see.
Is this not what you wear to class?
No.
It would explain why I've seen this at the end of movies. I would explain it. Oh well. You can see Ryan has a little bit of a smile. Well, since I do want to ask if you guys are feeling in a mood to get some fresh air, in a sense.
What does that mean?
Well, I think we have a lead on one of the canisters you need in order to cure yourself. You see, he kind of turns off the lights, has a projector, kind of the old school, kind of like you put something in it and it kind of reflects. You see, he kind of puts it down. You see what currently looks like to be a body that's washed up. It seems to be in a gazette of some sort from a newspaper, someplace in Georgia. You can see the dead body kind of on the side washed up. One of the things that you notice without having to roll anything, there's a number of magical runes that have been etched into their skin and whatnot as he kind of goes, this gentleman right here is Joe Valentine. He is a famous football player and he is dead. He washed up on the shores around an island where they were filming a show called Hopeless in Love. In terms of what makes this interesting for our organization is due to the little, and you see he kind of pulls out a marker, highlights, the runes around his body. They are demonic in nature. We haven't really been able to narrow down, what sect or what, kingdom, but they have been cut deep into his skin. And the thing that makes it interesting is we found a high amount of radiation similar to what you are experiencing. But also this. You see he kind of pulls up another picture of what looks like to be sand of a multicolored nature, which most of you may not, think of immediately. But for you, Miss Foot, it sparks instant memories of Tyr. We found this near the body. And I do want to confirm, looks over to you, Miss Foot, we're thinking what we're thinking, but can you confirm our suspicions that this may be related to your family in some way, shape, or form?
And Misfit, I think, leans in a little bit closer, trying to see the images a little bit clearer, trying to make out the sand. It's not possible. He died in my arms.
So he is dead. We're not crazy, right? He did die. Burned, if I'm not mistaken, ashes and whatnot.
Be a little bit more careful about the words that you use, Director.
You see he kind of takes a step back. You see Ozzy makes a note. Who is the individual we're talking about? Who died?
It was a family member of Misfits.
We lost a cousin?
Something like that. The fewer questions,
it's not possible.
the better.
Forgive me for my words. I think it doesn't necessarily have to be your brother. He's dead. We haven't had any confirmation yet about what's going on in hell. But for the most part, your brother should be dead. So it's probably just maybe somebody using a similar MO, or, there are worse scenarios we can think of that I will not say in present company. But, we found
scenarios. What scenarios?
I don't know. I mean, you get touchy around me talking about ashes. I don't know if you want me to talk about these other scenarios.
Just what other scenarios? What is possible?
Well, in the most harshest of scenarios, we could possibly think that someone may have dug up your brother's grave and took their ashes. Magical quantities. It's not unheard of for grave robbers in hell to dig up stuff and take things. So,
And you can get his powers that way.
It's more like maybe a substance, maybe alchemical in nature. I mean, I doubt you can get his powers. His powers are specifically tied to you guys, and he's dead. So you really can't bring back a member of royal family.
Thank you. I know. I know.
But yeah, but clearly somebody's got the same MO or something like that. So the agency, at my behest, has given me free reign to make you field agents. And with this being your first assignment for us. If you're up to it.
We are. Do you have the body? The sand?
Believe it or not, we did have it in an evidence locker. It was in, police station nearby. Not there anymore. Plastic baggie got ripped. So whatever happened, it's not there anymore. We got the body, but we don't have the sand. So
I'd like to talk to them.
They're dead.
I said I'd like to talk to them.
All right. Freaky. Yeah, free reign. We did give you guys credentials, so whenever you want to head out, we do have a teleporter that is right quick. Which we call it, a teleporter right quick to get you to a nearby boat. We signed you guys up as contestants, given your age range, and really wasn't anything else we can really think of in terms of production and whatnot. It was very closed kind of agency, so you're going to show up as contestants on a love show. So I don't think it should be too difficult for all of you. You all seem like folk that enjoy dating, I hope.
You want us to go on a dating TV show?
Yeah, a little fun won't hurt you, kids. Right?
We have different definitions of fun.
No, we don't need a dating show. Thank you.
Well, you don't have to participate, but you're gonna have to play along with this. This is the only detail we can get without raising suspicions, so.
God, I've never been on TV. What the fuck does that entail?
Oh, believe me, you've been on TV. You've just never been interviewed before.
Okay, all right. And I think at that point, Vic just gets up and leaves.
Misfit has not been, stopped paying attention to what the director has been saying after the conversation about Tyr happened. And I think he is examining the picture of the body with the runes carved into it. Do I recognize any of these runes at all?
I think this would be a wonderful time to grasp keys, Humna. With that, yes, it's Apocalypse Keys, folks, which means we're getting to that part where we gotta find keys. These are important for later on, which I'll explain next episode, as we will unlock Doom's Door, maybe. We'll see. But in terms of what grasp keys is, when you search for a clue, investigate the signs of the apocalypse, or use your powers of darkness to gather information. Describe how you're doing so, and you can spend darkness tokens and roll. So it is up to you. I believe you have some tokens, so anybody who doesn't know, when you roll, when you're rolling, you can decide to add darkness tokens, which you can accumulate. Thing is, you can only add tokens. You can only add to your roll, not subtract. So that's something to keep in mind. And if you get too high, you kind of succeed, which, some stuff happens. So I will leave it up to you, Humna, on what you would like to do.
I am going to use both of my darkness tokens that I have accumulated thus far in order to add to this roll. And I think the way that Misfit is doing that, the way that manifests is all of this talk has dredged up the memory of Tyr and the grief of losing him and everything that had entailed, the way that the loss of Tyr really had represented to Misfit the severing of their family. At least for him, that there was no place for him left in his blood family, in his bloodline. And that was something that they had processed a little bit, but for the most part had kind of pushed very deep down and just not really thought about. And they were hoping they could just keep not thinking about it, but that's not happening. And I think that well of emotion kind of surges up and it causes that nuclear energy within Misfit to grow and grow and grow. And I think if anybody else is still in the room, you could probably feel it almost like static in the air. You can feel that there is this well of emotion, this sadness, this deep, deep sadness kind of permeating the air. As Misfit examines the body in these runes.
Please roll for me. And as that's kind of happening, you notice nobody's really in the room, I would say, per se at the moment, as everybody's kind of maybe leaving, except for Eden. But you do notice as you're almost getting to that point, the suit that is currently on you, you see Asi go, and fixing that, as you really get almost like pinched, as you feel something almost like, not as sedative, but something like regulate you, as you see that almost like a holographic visor pulls up and kind of goes back down to try to stabilize your levels. You see Asi go, I know it's kind of hard for you, but just kind of keep it in check. The last thing we want to do is blow up the people we're working with, which would really suck, cousin. We don't want that happening.
Without looking at Asi, still looking at the picture, I think Misfit just kind of snaps, don't touch me again without asking. And is going to metaphorically grasp for this key. I did get a 5, which is a miss. And on a miss,
add 2. I still get a 5. Oh no!
The dice hate me. What can I say? For the audience, on a miss, it says that you find more than you were ready for. I can choose to mark ruin to uncover a key, but in doing so, the keeper will reveal how I come closer to becoming a harbinger, and I will be doing that.
Fantastic. With that, you almost like snap at Asi as you see that the regulator was working until, for some reason, that anger within you, it's almost like snapping. And in an instance, it reminds you of almost like your father when he would snap at you for messing up or for doing something. And you can see that regulator almost becomes not really useful as the levers spike for a moment before going back down. As you see Asi kind of go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna leave, cousin. Good luck with that. I'm just gonna go on standby. And kind of disappears for a moment. With that, as you're in that rage, not really noticing what you've done, there's 2 things you hear. There's still one key that you're grasping here for the runes. For the runes themselves, looking at it, it seems to be a mix between your people's... demons have languages in their sense for their native realms. You can see that there is a number of native runes for your region, but you also see that there seems to be a combination from what you believed was the enemy, which is Satan's. You see that there is a number of runes there. And all of them at the moment is kind of like reading a mix of stuff, but from what you can get from the key words in it, you can see 3. You see death, adapt, and then you see revive as what you kind of notice. The other thing that you notice, that's kind of, the runes is kind of the key that you grasp, but just the wee bit of thing that you notice, almost like those blurry pictures of Bigfoot, you see that with the picture of the sand, there seems to be almost like a shade-like figure moving, very blurry, with their eyes glaring, that maybe nobody noticed yet. But you can see they're kind of looking, almost moving, as they're almost fading into the crowd.
And Misfit immediately, I think, at first was sort of pondering the strangeness of seeing both Iblis's and Satan's runes all together on the same body, unheard of until now, and is immediately snapped over to this figure and I think is pressing their face as close as they can, scrutinizing it. Does it resemble Tyr at all?
It's too blurry. You don't know what it is. Could be just a trick of the light. Doesn't necessarily have to be someone you know.
Wordlessly, I think Misfit takes the Is this like a film projector, like with the like?
Yeah, it's just a photo you can grasp if you want to take it. It's just
Then
a
I
full projector right now, so.
so I think Misfit is gonna take this photo wordlessly without asking permission. Take it, grab it, and walk out the room.
Eden, you are watching all of this. Do you interject or do you let it be?
Eden just immediately kind of, as you start to walk away, comes up to your side, I think, and just like presses a hand on the low of your back and walks with you until you're ready to talk.
And I think we walk for a little bit in the house, and we get to. Honestly, Misfit doesn't even know where they're going. They're just kind of aimlessly wandering, and they don't know the layout of this house just yet. But I think something takes us back to the attic, where we had found Aussie, where we had found the vials and everything else. And when it's just the two of us, I think, in the attic, out of earshot from anybody else, Misfit just takes the photo and thrusts it into your hand.
What is this? And Eden will inspect it with their they inspect it with that same kind of like hungry intensity. Like they were patient for you, but there was also something like very like they wanted to see what you had found. That like always kind of exudes out of them whenever there is a question in the room. They are hungry for it. Whenever there is something strange going on, Eden wants to consume it. They want to hold it until it is too like tight in their fingers to even know what's going on. So they take it and immediately like start poring over the image, looking for it. Do I see anything strange when I look at this image?
For this instance, I will say no. It seems pretty normal. I mean, you got everything you got out of it. Because, you're like, what about these runes? They already got everything out of this picture for now.
But does Eden see the shade?
At first, don't notice it until Misfit points it out. It's almost like something you would completely miss. It seems to only the discerning of eyes would notice this.
Misfit doesn't actually point it out at first. They are staring very intently at you, Eden, as you are looking at this image. They're not looking at the photo with you. They're looking at you directly.
You watch Eden's face go through the same thing that it does whenever it reads a page. A page in any magical tome, in any text, they're doing it constantly. They're like devouring the words. They look at every inch of this image. And instead of like sometimes when they're reading a really good book, it's like the hunger is so desperate that they have to turn the page. Like that just kind of, I think, falls away. Like the interest in the image almost bleeds out of them as they like look through it and don't find anything worth searching for, really. And it kind of falls, and then their eyes like flick up to yours, kind of trying to search your face now.
We'll do Vic real quick, and then we'll cut again for a break.
In the division, we were in an auditorium, and the director said something snide to Vic. It wasn't even on purpose. The director said something tactless to Vic, and Vic just decided to leave. I think exactly in a way that, not storming off, but like being reminded, hey, you used to like do really fucked up things to just people that were not suspecting it. And you were on TV at some points, and your old shitty job had to cover that up all the time. Vic is like, you know what? I'm better than this. I'm going to leave before I hit you. So I think Vic just goes to like maybe, the most accessible thing in any like, what is it, like you could call it an office, but like a building, and that's the cafeteria.
Fendi, go to the cafeteria. It is about lunchtime, so everybody's kind of, meatball hero is the special of the day. People are giddy as hell to eat this. As you see, kind of walking in, you have a feeling of hunger, but it isn't this food that kind of hates that aroma. It's not that. It's something more primal in nature, as you see just a feast of auras that could be consumed, of different shapes, sizes, and origins. It's almost like a buffet of magic.
Yeah, and I think very similarly to like Gotta love executive dysfunction when you're not hungry until like you know it, until like something hits your nose, until you realize it. I think this makes Vic pause for a moment. And Vic just kind of looks around, kind of like salivates a little bit, wipes away a little bit of that saliva, and is just so focused. And I think for a moment Vic is like looking around, almost like looking at a buffet, looks over to one person whose aura kind of seems very like kind. That person probably uses healing magic. Looks over to another. This person's like aggressive and that's probably fire magic. And then looks over like, oh my god, that person might have like enhancement, very like similar to a barbarian, like you would imagine in D&D. And I think there's a new sensation going on within Vic in this moment. Very different to last season when Vic would, eat a soul and then like, have a bunch of information and have to decipher it. Right now, Vic is analyzing, is hungry, and is almost in a way probably like a scientist, like examining like which one of these things would make me less hungry? Like, what would be the best meal right now? Like, what am I hungry for? And then Vic stops himself and there's like, realizes, oh no, I'm about to do something very bad. And then promptly reverses and leaves the cafeteria. Almost sweating, almost running, very much like, I can't do this again. This can't be who I am again. I can't be this hungry again.
That feeling overwhelms you, and as you kind of pitter patter away, you do notice at the corner of your eye, Casey tries to almost like hail you down, but you kind of run in that instance. As I will say for this moment, just because of the controlling yourself, and it's like even with them in the room, it's still a lot. As you kind of run off and that interaction happens. Before Misfoot left, is there anything that you want to finish up with that scene, or are you okay to move on?
Do you want to recap a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, Eden tries to look through the image and finds nothing that hooks into them the way that information, arcane knowledge, forbidden histories do. And when that kind of that intensity falls away from their face, they instead flick their eyes up to look into Misfit's face, to search that expression. What?
What do you mean, what?
Is there... What are you seeing, Misfit?
Are you... And I think Misfit takes your hand, one of your hands, and takes your finger and traces it along the shade.
Just a blur of the camera, right?
Look closer.
And Eden does look closer.
The eyes is what gets you. In this instance, it's those eyes that just feel a bit off. It could be just the trick of the light, or maybe it's something deeper. You just can't tell from the blurriness of this picture.
That is odd. They look like they want something. They're looking right into the camera. But
What if the director's right?
about what?
Dear. What if he's not dead?
And Eden kind of leans back, like puts the photo back in your hands. Do you want him to be not dead?
I don't want him to be... Didn't want him to die.
That wasn't what I asked.
I don't know. And Misfit looks back at the photo and then, like, holds it out for Eden again. But look, you know about this better than I do. Is it possible?
Something about Eden's face twists. Yes, it is. I know it is. Because I've been working on it.
Working on what?
Working on a way to bring your brother back.
Is this you?
No,
Then?
that is not me. That is not
And
how
Misfit
it's
is
done.
searching in your face for any indication of whether or not you were telling the truth, because they can't tell.
And I think, like,
their eyes are scanning your eyes, your face, your body language, anything, but they don't know how to tell. They've never needed to.
And Eden is so good at lying. They have, you know this about them when you were able to know if they were lying or not. They lied to your face constantly lying, these half-truths, these little twists between truth and lie. And that same kind of movement like comes into their shoulders. They look away from your face. They look back at the picture. They look up at it again. They look at your face. And then they seem to remember that kind of panic that you're searching for. True. Misfit. I've been working on it. And it is possible. And I was going to tell you.
But you didn't.
Not yet. It wasn't the right time. I was waiting. It didn't feel like the right time because now it's not the right time, right? You seem upset.
And Misfit, I think, takes the photo like jerkily back away from you, almost like it's a precious heirloom of some kind, and holds it very gently. And they take a couple steps back and just, what do you want from me, Eden? Right now.
Is it something you want? I've been spending the last year trying to figure it out.
Are you telling the truth? Was this you?
No, what? No, it wasn't me.
So why didn't you tell me earlier that you were working on it?
Because I wanted it to be a surprise, because you were still mourning, because anytime I say Tyr's name, you flinch. I'm sorry, I didn't.
And I think Misfit is still for a second, eerily still in their body, and their shoulders kind of tense up, and you can feel, again, similar to in the room, in the auditorium before, you can feel that same static energy coiling in the air around you, but this time it's hard to pinpoint what exactly the emotion is. You just know that it's restless and it's complicated. And in that roiling of static electricity, of that nuclear energy coming off of Misfit's chest, I think they just as you think it's going to reach an apex, they let out a breath and they just walk out of the room without saying anything.
And Eden lets you go.
As that happens, I think we cut a little bit, not to the present, but a little bit before, as you guys all managed to get teleported to what looks like to be the docks. You're in a little town off of, in Georgia. You didn't get a name per se. You really didn't care, especially given all the things that are going on right now. But at the moment, it's currently you three. Boat has just arrived. And with that, Casey is their suit. To kind of make it very quick here, as it's not too important. They're kind of going under the guise of your agents. If your talent, the agent just wants to make sure your manager. They want to make sure you got everything you need. Casey is looking at you, Vicious, just with a particular concern for the most part. But as you guys kind of get on the boat itself, you can see you're introduced to what looks like to be a very rough-looking captain. You can see they're like an older gentleman, very rough, sea sailor tough. Has like a very hard, their beard is almost like very hard bristle. Whitish gray. You can see they have sort of scars along their left cheek. Built, slightly built as they kind of, well, hello everyone, and welcome to my boat. If I am not mistaken, you are the individuals that will be traveling on the good old girl today.
I'm sorry, is your boat called the Good Old Girl?
Exactly right, called the good old girl. And you see they kind of points at the sign. It does say, in very faded paint, good old girl.
Yeah, aye, Captain, we are the people.
Fantastic. Now, I can get your luggage for you. And you see he kind of just picks it up for you guys. If you let him, unless you're like, no. Kind of picks it up. It's a very quick trip to the island. We are waiting for one more person. There they are. And Misfoot, I think you're the only person who knows Radu, as the rest really didn't get an image of him. Or really his voice. As you can see, looks plain as day, no dragonic scales or anything like that, looks completely human in this instance. As you see, he makes eye contact with you specifically and kind of goes, hello, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. Are you contestants as well?
I have a question, actually.
Yes, please.
How much magic is radiating off of this guy, and how hungry does it make Vic?
It's this one isn't really hungry. It's more of like you got to get away from this guy. He's too hot. It's almost like a stove is on. You can kind of feel the heat usually when you put a stove on. Your hand is kind of close to it. And it's almost like a burning sensation. You got to get away from this guy. He's got magic, but
It's like way too hot.
It's just you just gotta get away. It's a ghost pepper. It's just too much.
A spoonful of I already forgot. Wasabi.
Yeah, just nope. No, I mean you may if you had a meat or something to pair it with, but yeah.
I think as a reaction, Vic because Vic got a couple of feedings when we first jumped out of the tube. Well, when Vic crashed out of the tube last episode, and I think very much blinks out of existence, and then not far, 10 feet backwards, probably next to Casey, Vic is standing, and it's what the fuck?
Well, that's mighty rude of you. Why you have to be like that?
You'll have to forgive us. We hate water.
The sea is a quite fine tempest. I mean, it may have taken someone last night off my boat, but I will assure you it is a completely safe place. Now, the island we're going to, a very different story, but the water,
hold
completely
on, just
fine.
Really, really fast. Sorry to interrupt you. Somebody got murdered on your boat last night? This is the...
No one got murdered, per se. He kind of fell off. If you saw the news about that guy...
Where?
It kind of points over to the ledge. It was quite raining and storming, seas twisting and turning. It reminds me of the good old days, and I would go out to the middle of the Atlantic and, hunt for whale. But for the most part, it was a rough night, and he was very panicky in a sense. I tried to get him back inside, but he didn't want to go inside, and a sea hit us, right crash. I almost fell off myself, and he just fell in. I couldn't find him after that. It was pitch dark, so you know how it goes.
Of course. That's why we don't like water.
Yeah.
It's rough waters at night, a very, very rare occurrence. The water is quite sublime, I have to tell you, especially in these Georgian waters.
I'm just gonna go check that out really fast. Hey Vic, you wanna?
Yeah, anything to Vic's like, who's like 10 feet back? Yeah, anything to get away from the ghost pepper and the weird captain.
What are you talking
I
about?
take that as a compliment. As you see, he kind of goes up the stairs. Very jaunty fellow. Weird, but jaunty. As he goes. With that, as you're separating it, Wiswit, you get a quick moment with Radu, and he goes, "Hello, it is a pleasure to see you again."
Likewise, what are you doing here? Look, if you're here to do what it
Oh no,
take
I'm not.
revenge.
I don't. Again, I really don't have beef with you. I particularly have it with your father. So, but
yeah,
I'm
we
here
established
to.
that.
I'm here to help. To be honest, so I knew you were coming here, just because of, I have my own channels and who I talk with, so I thought I would help you with this scenario. And he kind of pulls out the newspaper. You see, he read it, and specifically, you see, he turns to the page where the sand is.
So you came here just to see me then?
You see, he blushes. He goes. He just catches himself. I'm very sorry. It's a very funny joke you tell. You're not my
It
type.
wasn't a joke.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not really my type. I'm more of a, you're just not my.
More of
You
a
know.
what? Enlighten me. What do you prefer, Radu?
Well, first, I particularly do not like to date the, enemy of my, the child of my hated enemy. That's kind of weird for me. But I mean, I guess you could be fine completely. I mean, you seem like a nice person, and you're built. So I mean, that doesn't. You see, it's getting. I'm just going to. How about I kind of proceeds just to walk, just not really sure what to say. A little flustered, but he did mean when he said like, no, and proceeds to walk off.
And I think Misfit just kind of took the newspaper from Radu when Radu was like showing it to him to see like why he was here, and just kind of like is holding the newspaper and watches Radu walk away for just a couple moments before turning their attention back to the newspaper. And what exactly is printed in this article? Because there's sand, you said, in the photo.
Yeah, sand in the photo, a little bit of a weird place, but as you proceed to almost look at your newspaper, you can see in the horizon on a hill someone staring at you. You can't
Wait, hold on. Just clarify. In the picture or in real life?
In real life, you're almost going to like turn to the newspaper.
Okay,
and before you put your head down, you see there's somebody on a distant hill. You can't make it out. That is just staring at you.
Is it in the same direction that Eden and Vic are going?
Opposite. It seems like they're going more towards the seaside, or where that is. They're more on mainland. There's no one about. It looks like a mountain, like a hilltop, or nobody's really would go on, and they're just staring. Their head almost crooked. You can't make out anything besides their shape, which seems to be a little bit malformed. But for the most part, they're just staring.
And I think a younger Misfit, not by much, by about a year, would have probably followed. And there is a moment where it looks like Misfit's about to, he puts the newspaper, rolls it down, and takes a step forward, but then looks down, I think, at himself, and their hand kind of goes through their hair to try and like fix it. And normally, where they would expect to find resistance, where the horns are, where they would have to move around it, there is none. And I think in that moment, Misfit stops, thinks better of it, turns around, and I think starts to go in the same direction where Eden and Vic are going.
As you two If you decide to take a peek, do you take a peek back at the same hill, or do you just keep walking?
I mean, there's no reason Eden would
Oh,
look at a
us?
hill.
No, Misfoot,
Oh.
real quick.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you,
Oh,
as you're
I thought
walking
you were
away?
talking to the others.
No, real quick, are you gonna take a quick peek, or are you just gonna walk?
I am gonna look, but I'm not gonna get closer.
No problem. You take a look. Nothing's there anymore.
It's worse.
Look at the paper. That sand's not there. It's just filler. As you proceed to walk towards them. With that, Eden and Vicious, you get to the side of the boat. It's okay. It's a little, it's a ring-a-dingy boat. It's not exactly the best. I mean, it'll get you to point A to point B, but for the most part, it's okay. And again, the island, not too far away. Maybe a good 15-minute, depending on, how fast this thing is. But for the most part, you get to this section, what looks like, you can see the life preserver. He must have tried to save this person. As you see, it's not here. You can see on the other side of the ship, it's there. On this side, not here. So as you guys get to this instance, what would you like to do?
Vic had an agenda. One, takes all this information in. Thinks very quickly to himself, damn, if I could fly, I wouldn't have to fucking be on this cursed boat, regardless. Secondarily, I guess I'll make a roll. But that's not Vic's main concern. Vic's main concern is to look immediately to Eden and be like, trouble in Lover's Paradise again.
Shut the fuck up, Vic.
What's going on now?
And I think Eden, is annoyed that you're right? Obviously came over here to talk to you about it. But is mad now that you called them out about it. So they take some time where they pretend to look at the crime scene, right? Where they kind of put their hands up on the handle where they're looking at it. But they're so distracted. They can't actually focus on this thing that's happening because there are a million different things going on in their brain. And it's very clear on their face that that's happening. And they eventually just kind of brace against the edge and run a hand through their hair.
Yeah.
Why did you and Heaven actually break up?
Wow. Well, trading blow for blow. That's fine.
It's a genuine question.
Something. I couldn't be the same thing for Heaven that Heaven was for me.
And what was that?
There. At least she wouldn't let me be there. We kept having problems, Heaven was getting further and further away, and I couldn't reach them. And every time I would bring it up, they would just push me away. So I threw myself into other things, I did my work with the Fae. I reached out to Casey, hit it off before we left, and I decided to be a little bit more normal. I ate the monster. Woohoo. No one tells you what comes after that.
Yeah, there's not really a playbook for our lives.
No. So, look, I can't tell you what's going on with Heaven, but I can only tell you that if he wanted me to, I would be there in a heartbeat. I would do anything for Heaven. You know that. I'm the fucking reason that they're Nephilim. But I think that might be half the problem.
And I think Eden kind of braces their back against the edge of the railing now and looks almost past you toward where Misfit is starting to get onto the boat. I get that. The only reason Misfit came here in the first place is because of me. The only reason all of this bullshit happened is because of me, and I would do anything to fix it. But what if you and Heaven aren't together anymore because she wouldn't let you in? What if he doesn't let me in? What if I can't fix it?
And there is a long pause in that question, as if Vic has thought about it every single night for the longest time. You want the hopeful answer or the real answer? Or my answer?
Don't bullshit me, Vic. I want your answer.
You get over it. Because if they don't let you in, Eden, you can't force your way in. I mean, you could try, but I sure it would fuck everything up even more. We monsters are not good at breaking broken things. At best, we can put them together with the blood that we use. Who the fuck knows? Not me, but you get over it, you become better.
Are you over it, Vic? And there is... Eden didn't like your answer. There's like, they're snapping back now. There's something kind of vicious about the way they ask now, where like they're obviously not happy with what you've said.
What do you think? Do you think that my new partner can, fill the hole of the one that left me? Do you think that I feel good about being the reason that Heaven is the only one that's not normal? Do you think I feel good about any of this? No, I don't feel good about any of this. No, I'm not over it, but I have to be, Eden. We have to get over it if we can't do anything. You know why? Because if we push, things go over a fucking cliff. And you know that better than anyone. And I'm not throwing it in your face. You know just as well as I do. If we push, they leave. Look at Dell. I don't even know where fucking Dell is. It has been a year, Eden. I don't know where Dell is because I kept pushing. I wanted to save her so bad because apparently she was going to die, and look where it left me, with nothing. So no, Eden. I know the answer sucks. But if you're going to keep pushing, you and Misfit are going to go over a fucking cliff. And for fuck's sakes, maybe I will too, trying to chase you. So be careful. Or at least ask for help this time.
Right, because this has been so immensely helpful.
What are you cooking up?
I cannot lose him. Vic. I have a plan. I've had a plan to fix it, to fix everything. Square one. Make things right in hell.
Everything.
Everything.
And what does everything entail?
I can bring Tyr back. I could do it right now if I wanted to.
And why don't you?
And they look at Misfit. Because we're going to go over a cliff if I do.
And I can't fly anymore. So we would just fall.
Fuck me.
What do you want to do?
I don't know yet. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
I can't lose him, Vic. I can't.
You're not going to lose him. Misfit
Do you
went to
mean
hell
that?
and back for you. Do not forget that.
And I think with that, the boat starts to... Before we finish out this scene, I think some darkness tokens are in order. As in this game, if you embody certain conditions, you can get more darkness tokens to spend. Misfoot, I think you particularly felt a little unloved, maybe abandoned, but also you did act out in a little bit of violence. So for you, I'll give you 2 darkness tokens. I think for Eden, you were quite monstrous. Get over it? You can have 4, my lovely dear. And for Eden, I think a
Oh,
3.
you meant Vic.
Wait, which one?
I'm
Me?
sorry.
Wait,
By
I
the
think
way,
you meant Vic.
Who got the 4?
Vic.
Who got the 4?
Vic, you got 4. Vic, you got
Yes.
4.
Love
So,
to
and I think
worse.
Eden, I think 3 is a good number for you. So please add those into your lovely little pools. Now, before we go on break, is there any last things we would like to do on this boat before we cut smash to the present?
Yes, I would actually like to make a roll.
Fantastic. I'm assuming keys unless there's something else.
Yes, I'm gonna go for keys.
Fantastic.
Since
So roll
we
that
did
for
get to
me. Eden,
investigate.
is there anything you would like to do? I think I have an idea of what you may be
Is-
curious.
What happens when you get too many darkness tokens? Just wondering.
I
I
don't
put in that I
believe-
have 7 now, and it says that I am
Lord.
torn between. I don't know if that was maybe just an accident on behalf of Roll20, or if that is
No,
that means
I
something.
think that is a thing, actually. Torn in between is when you, almost forgot about this, a certain amount of darkness tokens, you can get kind of torn in between yourself and your monstrous self, as evident with your struggle. So for you, it's not really a roll. You make a choice here. Either you let your monstrous nature show and describe the damage you do in an outburst that causes you to mark a 1 ruin. You describe how you diminish your power and conform to the pressures of humanity and you lose all your darkness tokens. Or you spend a bond with someone and describe how they directly or inadvertently helped you gain control.
Can I take a minute to think about that?
Please do. I'll deal with Vicious first. Vicious, what did you get?
One moment. I don't know how many darkness tokens I have, so we'll just.
I don't
I think
you've
this was your
accumulated
first
any.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have
three.
4.
So you have,
Oh, I got 4. I got 4.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, you're 4.
Wonderful. Because I got a 12, and I do not feel like marking more ruin, so I'm gonna burn the 3 that you gave me. Wait. Oh no, bonds are the ones that lower it.
Yeah, so and also real quick, you gotta declare I'll be a stickler here a little bit. You gotta declare. I'll let it slide because we're still learning. But in the future, you have to declare before you roll how many darkness tokens you would like to add, just
Oh,
for your
got
knowledge
it.
there. So
I mean, if you love me, I'll roll again. I'll play by your
no,
rules.
no, it's
Come on,
fine.
come
It's
on,
fine.
come on,
No, no. You got a 12. We have to honor the dice. The dice want to tell a story.
Oh,
Let the dice
fine,
tell
I
a
got
story.
12.
Got 12. You uncover a key, but there is a significant complication, cost, or fallout. So what are you specifically trying to do here? And then I can help you out with
Yeah,
telling
because
you.
we came over to the side of the boat, and there is, you said there was like either a missing life raft or.
Yes. Somebody tried to throw one out to try
Yeah.
to save someone.
I guess because this is just a scene with from Vic's understanding immediately not a lot of information, but I think Vic maybe without even Vic realizing their hunger miasma kind of bleeds out behind them as they are arguing with Eden, and kind of almost like a black light touches everything and exposes the where the raft was, not a raft, but
Yes.
the life raft was, and it's kind of evaluating. And I think as that argument ends, I think Vic tastes something on their mouth as their miasma finds something.
I think yes. In terms of what you taste, which would be the key for you here, you can taste that whoever had this is a very powerful demon. As you can taste ancientness, you can taste something on that island. There's not an original inhabitant there. There's something that someone came here to do something. As you can taste of an ancient power. Specifically, you can taste because of your palate. It's almost like a wine tasting. You can taste the little bits of You taste almost in a sense of this demonic power has the power to make deals and contracts, which is normal. But for this one, it seemed like whoever it claimed was one that they've been waiting a long time or may have not been able to collect for a long time. this was something someone really wanted bad, and they've been waiting a while to get it. But that's going great. You notice that as that almost insectoid kind of reptilian like ectoskeleton begins to form, it doesn't go away on the fore part of your hands. It's still there. And you're like, okay, turn off now. Turn off now. It's almost like claws, like your fingernails are like extended. They're still there. You can't hide this at the moment. And you notice you're getting closer to the pier of where there's mortals there, humans there going all about. And you're like,
It's like the claws were cool last season. Come on.
As you're trying to get rid of that, Eden, did you make a choice in your mind?
I did make a choice, Chris, and I have a devil's bargain to slide right back at you because I'm a little bastard. I would like to let my monstrous nature show and describe the damage my outburst causes, but I don't want to do it yet. I have nothing to offer you in turn except that I'll make it really bad.
Oh, fantastic. We will store that for later. As you are just... is there anything else you want to specifically do? Because I know you're kind of like, Is there anything else you want to specifically do here before we cut the break?
I think just as we get closer, as Eden turns, is like miasma is going out of Vic. I think Eden turns, and where they walk, they leave a small trail of iridescent, multicolored sand.
Fantastic. And as that happens, you get to the pier, time fast forwards, and I think this is a wonderful time to take a break before we get into our lovely dating show, Hopeless in Love. We'll be right back, everyone. So grab a drink, use el baño, grab a snack, and we'll be right back to find out who this bachelor is choosing. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mythic Initiative. With that, let us resume as we cut to the present after the introductions, the promos, and everything, as we hear the final word from just a distance. Cut! As you see, kind of opens up, the filter kind of changes completely as it kind of goes to normal. As you can see, it's a whole production crew and whatnot. You're currently at the docks, but you can see that, everybody is going about their day. In terms of just getting basic readings, whatever having the roll or anything, you can see in terms of the contestants themselves, they look, for the most part, they kind of slight shifts in their behavior. TV mode versus normal mode. But you can see that the bachelor at the moment, the individual known as Ponce, seems to be just normal state. He's not really acting for the most part. The other three, though, a little bit, not too much, but they're not being completely truthful. And you see everybody's going about their business. You see production people going from there to there. In terms of the surroundings around you, you are on a smallish island. You can see that they have lodges and whatnot. You can see they have posted on trees kind of like this way to the beach or this way to the lodge and whatnot, as they have, people to get their bearings. The sort of structures that are here are recently built. You can tell that this island was recently renovated to host this place. So they did a lot of production work and whatnot. But at the moment, everyone's going about their day. You see the host kind of still getting their bearings and kind of go, that was lovely, all of you. I'm very excited to have you. Please take your moment to get away around the island, get yourself situated. And if you need anything, we have a bunch of lovely crew members here. If you need anything in particular from the crew, you see these snap their fingers. You see what looks like to be an individual, maybe a man in his 40s, very like Mario, like bristle mustache, short hair, kind of a little bit of like heavy bags on their eyes. Kind of goes, hello, my name is Shane. It is a pleasure to see all of you. I am currently one of the main crew members. If you need any help, I am happy to do so. And you see the host kind of goes, they can provide anything you need. Now, if you do excuse me, I do have to talk with some production folk. If you do need to get a hold of me, Temple over there, my lovely, lovely agent. You see a woman, pantsuit, very much business, very short cropped hair, sort of like white skin, very still like kind of youngish. Maybe in like their 30s, maybe 29, around there. Is currently on the phone. You see they're screaming at somebody right now of like, apparently they need something and they need it now for their star. If you need anything, please just go over to Temple and just anything you need, they'll get me to get you guys. But with that, please enjoy your time on the island and I wish you the best of luck.
Sorry, not to bother you, but could I get a towel?
Oh, yeah, sure. You see Shane go, can we get a towel here? Yeah, thank you. Oh, wait, do you want it hot? Do you want it just normal? Do you want it?
Normal is fine.
Normal, fantastic. And you see just almost like a reaction. Someone goes, here, and just throws it, catches it midair without even flinching. Here you go. Anything else? Anybody? No? Okay. You see somebody go, hey, can I get help with camera number 5? Yep, coming along right now. Best of luck, guys. And kind of heads off as they're preparing to get themselves situated.
Was the
Misfit
water
still
completely necessary?
Misfit still shirtless and dripping wet, is I think using the towel to like dry off their hair, which has come a little bit undone from the ponytail, I think, so it's like kind of falling over their face. Yeah, of course we have to act like we're supposed to be here, right?
You see the Bachelor Ponce kind of go, hi. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. He kind of puts his hand out to shake. Does anybody like reciprocate, or is he just like
cannot shake his hand right now because her hands in her pockets because her palms. Actually, I think Vic, because it's like the palm, so I think Vic thinks about it and then like clenches a fist and like puts out a fist bump Hey, Ponce.
Okay. Yeah. If you guys, if you ever want to talk, I mean, I know it's a little bit short because it's a surprise round. But I'll be by the lodge. I'm just getting my stuff ready. But I'm excited to meet you guys. I hope I get to talk with a lot of you. But time is of the essence. So, if you want to find me, I'll be at the lodge.
I think Vic looks at them with a hunger that their two compatriots know very well. It is the same hunger that was in the eyes when Rocco was around. It's the same hunger that was in the eyes when was it Frank? It just a number. It's not the magical hunger, but it's like, yeah, we can talk.
Vic.
No,
Yeah,
let them go. Let them go.
yeah. Actually, yeah, let's go right now, Ponce.
Dope, yeah, sure. Kind of, he puts his arm out. May I escort you?
Of course. And I think Vic just kind of like puts an arm out, like let this frail man escort them.
As you're doing that, I think Eden and Misfoot, there is a group. Not the other contestants. They're looking. I think just from an instance, without having to roll anything, you do see that Hani sends to be particularly giving like daggers at Vic, almost in the sense of like almost like really, kind of. But for the most part, everybody's kind of like normal-ish at the moment. You also see Casey kind of like gives a look at you too from a distance of like, are they okay? like if they need to do something about this.
Eden kind of waves off Casey's look, and then, just like Ponce did, kind of holds their arm out to Misfit, like a little sardonically. Shall we?
We should probably talk to the other contestants as well. And Misfit takes Eden's arm, but does so hesitatingly.
Eden lets Misfit take their arm and quietly tries to resteady their own confidence. It's not unlike Eden to be dependent on somebody else for their own sense of confidence. And this kind of like sends this like odd bitter where they instinctively, habitually close off a little bit, where they still let Misfit take and they follow toward the other contestants.
I think there is the towel is like draped around Misfit's neck at this point, as they're holding onto Eden's arm. And we walk a little bit in silence, I think, but just before we get to the other contestants, Misfit just kind of goes, so did you find anything on the boat?
Oh, the boat?
Before we got here, you and Vic were looking at their crime scene.
Right, the crime scene. Yes. No, we didn't find anything. We were arguing, as per usual.
Vic, why?
Yeah, we were just arguing about heaven.
Yeah, those two have been having a lot of problems lately.
Yeah, their breakup has been messy.
I do hope they figure that out, though. It sucks to lose somebody close to you, you know?
Yeah, it does.
And I think this is when we kind of roll up to where the rest of the contestants are milling about and hanging out. Hey!
Yeah, you can see that Clive and also Mizuki don't really pay attention to you as they're kind of like, doing their thing. They're getting ready for, the events of the day. But you see Hani kind of comes over. Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Hani. And he kind of extends their hand out very cordially.
Hi, Eden. I like the beach.
You've said that's quite the thing. And you, the picture of divinity, pointing over to Misfoot. It's a pleasure to meet you all here. I will have to say you got some pretty tough competition. Not to brag a little bit. You see the other two contestants kind of like just kind of like they've been dealing with this a lot. And he goes, I believe I'm really the pick for tonight. So you got some tough competition. If I do say so myself.
I mean, if you're the pick of the night, why is our beloved bachelor off with Vicious?
You want to know the truth? Kind of gets him
Please.
real close. I think it's just show antics, photo ratings. They do this all the time,
I mean,
I don't
he
think
was
they're
right.
filming right now.
Yeah, no, they're not. And I mean, up close, you could really see that kind of sparkle come into his eye. Just,
Uh, you know what? I'm just gonna really check on something real quick, guys. I'll see you later. And you see as she kind of runs into not even like a path. They try to find the shortest shortcut, so they just go straight into the thick of the forest here, and they go straight in running. You see Clive and Mizuki kind of go, "Oh, thank God! Thanks for getting us out of that situation. They suck."
having a hard week in paradise, I see.
It's not even like a hard week. Like, can we be real with you guys? Like, you seem like, I mean, you're only gonna be here for like a little bit. Can we be real with you? You
Yeah,
see Mizuki
always.
kind of go, no. He goes, "Eh, we're really here because it's been great for like me personally. I do a lot of construction jobs, so like getting my face out there really been a boon for my work. I got like so many projects lined up after this. And then Mizuki, like they're day traders, so like they're making connections at the wazoo here. Like, oh, it's like the best. I mean, sure, there's Ponce, but he's all right. He's not my cup of tea, but he's doing wonders for us. You see Mizuki very hesitantly, kind of like still trying to show respect, kind of go, he is right.
Yeah, I mean, Ponce's not really my type either. And I think Misfit's eyes kind of linger over on wherever Radu is, kind of like nearby, as they say that.
You see Radu right now is kind of expecting a tree. Some people kind of come over thinking like, does he have to like pee or something? Does he have to use the bathroom? And then kind of like, hey, it's over. He goes, oh no, I am just admiring the flora.
I think
Like,
when Misfit
okay.
says that, Eden like looks up at them to make like a kind of like sardonic, like cute little thing, like, and then sees that he's not looking at them, and like stares for a few seconds before following their gaze toward wherever Radu is.
You see that the contestants both give a look at each other. You do know, like, you're supposed to be looking at Ponce. I mean, it's not like we haven't had fun together on the island, but you do whatever you want, to be honest, as long as the bachelor doesn't know.
Well, I mean, the producers love a twist, right? I mean, think about what happened last night.
You can see there's a very tense kind of like they were kind of being talking, and then you bring up murder, and it's just like you can see that there's something behind their eyes. If you want to get any further, you're probably gonna have to roll to get information out of these peeps.
Yeah, what do I roll?
I think this is another grasping of keys, unless you're gonna use your powers or anything like that.
What powers, Chris? What powers?
It's up to you and your gods to decide. No, it's up to you if you want to grasp a key or try to maybe unleash your darkness or whatever, or anything like that. It's up to you.
I'm just gonna raw dog grab some keys.
Got it. It's a hell of a sentence, but yes. Please, I'll roll. If you're gonna spend darkness tokens, do say before you do it. So it's up to you.
I should have, but I didn't. I did say I was gonna raw dog it, so 5. That's a miss. I will. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take the ruin. Give me the key anyway.
Good key. Fantastic. As you kind of do, you notice, I would say, your emotions begin to almost in the sense of like you want to invite a feeling of I'll leave it up to you. Do you want it to be friendly or do you want them to be smitten with you? You got two choices here in terms of how you want these people to react towards you.
I think it's in line with Misfit's character for them to be smitten.
Fantastic. Almost like a wave of pheromones. It comes off of you and almost like hits them in the face. As you see, they kind of, and their immediate mood shifts completely as he kind of goes. You see, Mizuki kind of was reading something, throws it off to the side, and kind of very almost like shy. You see Clive kind of, yeah, like I know a couple of things as he starts to like flex. He kind of goes, so yeah. What do you want to know about Joey? What do you want to know? Like,
is that the first time that we are hearing the name of the victim?
You heard it before. You know the victim's name, but you know they're talking. You know you're on the same wavelength here of like, okay, this is the person we're talking about.
I think in that moment, Misfit looks over at Eden and just kind of like gives them a knowing look, like we can press a little bit, and kind of goes back to the two in front of them. Joey, did you know them well?
I mean, because, I think you're really cool and you seem to, so do I. They're just almost like trying to push out the way. Let's just say Honey's not that kind of cute, cat mom thing. That's a facade. Like, you didn't hear it from me or me. As you see Mizuki kind of like push off, hair out front, trying to, best features. Let's just say there was a little bit of foul play. Not necessarily murder. We didn't murder anybody. But, Joey was like a real shoo-in to win. And then Hani, seeing this and thinking they were a better match for, our bachelor, decided to kind of frame Joey. So, like, we all got together and, we kind of used the equipment that the cameraman had just laying about. And we made like a fake VCR of like, specifically, if I'm remembering this correctly, you see Mizuki kind of like look up the side. I pretended to like kiss him or whatever. Like they were supposed to be like a sure thing. And then I just kind of came in and then, not anything, explicit, but, I just, swooped in and kind of showed that, Joey isn't necessarily faithful. And then we made a VCR and showed it to Ponce. So we kind of, got him eliminated. It's like, what it is? Like, I may be like big, but I'm also big in here. My brain. You know what I mean? Like, I got a big brain. You know what it is.
That is so clever. I would not have even thought to do that myself. So, what happened after you showed that video to Ponce? What did they do? You said that they disqualified Joey, but how?
Well, it's a ceremony how it usually goes, but we're surprised. We were kind of concerned we were going to get booted off because Joey said he was going to go to the production people. He went to their production house, right? And they came out looking like he saw a ghost or something. Like he like freaked out. And then at the selection ceremony, we were like scared shitless. And when it came around, he didn't say anything. He didn't object or anything like that. He just kind of left. He was scared to leave. Like he really wanted to go. It's almost like he was like thankful that he was leaving. You see Mizuki? Yeah, it was really weird. Like, I mean, I thought he was always like a cool guy, but like he changed after that. He really freaked out.
A ghost?
I mean, like, looks like ghosts aren't real, and if they were, I protect you. As you see, kind of flexes a little bit more. But for the most part, it's just
was
a
there
metaphor.
sand? Did he talk about sand at all? Like multicolored sand?
You see, kind of like, and kind of point to the beach that's in front of you.
This is yellow sand, like multicolored sand, like reds and blues and purples and. What?
We just saw some interesting pictures before. We were hoping to see if there were, in fact, multicolored sand beaches on this island, like we were told.
Not to my knowledge, my guy. It kind of it gives you a very dismissive tone of like, excuse me, we're talking right now. Just like, not really. And kind of focuses back on Misfit. But if you want, I can maybe like, if I find anything, like, I'll sure let you know, big boy. As you see, he kind of gets really close, a little, like, hey, wait a minute.
And Misfit doesn't move at all, but their demeanor doesn't change either. And they say, yeah, if you see sand that is not sand colored, you come and tell me, okay? And if anybody talks about, of course, ghosts aren't real, but if anybody talks about ghosts at all, ever, if you see anything, if you hear anything, you come and tell us, okay?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to be investigative, you must have saw something in the production house. So if you're looking for clues, maybe the place, my guy.
All right. Production house. And Misfit looks at Eden with this like urgency in his face. Production house.
Production house. We can go to the production house.
Come on. And Misfit, without so much as a customary goodbye or any sort of like polite end to this conversation, literally just turns around, grabs Eden's like arm very gently, like not in a forceful way, but like takes Eden's arm and starts walking towards the production house.
You see, kind of goes like, anytime, my guy. And kind of, you see the both of them are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? As you see, they start to get a little aggressive with each other. Of like, ice on them first. No, ice on them first. As that kind of goes on, we cut right.
Bitch.
As we come back, real quick, do you let Radu know, or do you let Radu kind of wander around?
We'll tell Radu. He can join us.
Tell Radu. So till that, and with that, the three of you go. We cut right quick to Vic as you are kind of walking towards. It's a very luscious tropical. Even though you didn't get a real vacation, it's maybe the closest you might get, as it's a wonderful place. It's very kind of smells great. The temperature's not too hot, just right. There's another individual that fits your MO. That is up to you, really. Even though you have a little situation here, as you kind of give you a picture, you see at the moment he's been really asking you questions as you've been walking to the lodge, and kind of as you're pulling up, he kind of goes, "You've really led like an interesting life, really. I don't get out much. I do teach. I find teaching my first passion, especially for science is a great, it's the next frontier. But I don't know whether or not I'll stay a teacher, because the pay isn't exactly great. But I do love it. Love the kids. They got a bunch of like I get high fives, and the holiday pizza parties are great. I love pizza parties, but for the most part, I'm sorry, I'm talking about myself. What about you? What do you? What is your, not to get too deep, but like, what's your future like? Like, what do you?
Oh, that's a big question. And where are we going actually? Like scene wise?
It's like a lodge. It's just where people stay. It's kind of like like the main house where everybody gets together and
lives. Vic, we'll get there. Vic looks at him and like is asked this question. And that like hunger, that normal person hunger, kind of reels back a little bit. And Vic stops and thinks, and it's like, huh. I did not think about my future past the first apocalypse.
You see, it goes completely over his head, and he kind of interprets it like, personal crisis. He's like, I tell you, if I had to tell you how many like personal apocalypses I had to deal with in my life, I would be well over, gray hair. Just
if I had a nickel for every time, I'd have like 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but like
I know, like
happened twice.
Like midlife crisis, like that is very scientifically inaccurate. There is a lot of crises, like not necessarily midlife.
Like every week.
Just especially bills and like dating is kind of rough for me. Like it's I don't attachment isn't the same as everyone else. So it kind of makes you feel a little awkward in situations, especially when, people have those things in which they expect. It's just not me. I mean, I'm trying this out because the pay's great, but,
Yeah.
it's experience,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, like,
nice.
what do you do when you think everything's lined up for you, and then one day it's almost as if Sledgehammer comes and smashes everything that you've ever cared about. Yeah, I
I
mean,
feel you.
yeah, and I think Vic kind of like almost accidentally like places her hand and like slaps him, and then it gets like on the shoulder, and then it gets stuck, but it's like stuck there. Uh so it probably looks very intimate to the train wreck that is about to come into the scene. But Vic just is like, bud, you're pretty cool, and I really want to bite you. Let's go to your trailer.
Oh, wow, that is very far. And you hear almost like running at the fastest pace they possibly can, like from The Incredibles when Dash was running in, almost like that kind of. They're not going super speed, but they're like, and you see Honey, and she just almost has to stop herself. The heel of her foot kind of digging into the dirt, and he goes, "Hi guys!
Oh my gosh.
What a coincidence to see you here!" And he
Cat
said,
lady.
Honey, pleasure to meet you." Kind of puts their hand out to be shaken.
At this point, Vic realizes that it's stuck on Ponce's like shirt. And kind of rolls with it. No, my hands are a little occupied right now. What's up?
Oh, I know you're kind of new here, and I know you're kind of getting your way around. But we kind of have a thing going on, and
Ooh,
it's not like
okay.
it's the spirit of the game, really. But I would really appreciate if like a little too intimate. It's just in my
Oh
personal
my god, a
opinion.
little too intimate. I got intimate for you. I was about to show Ponce the intimate carnivorous cravings that I have for pathetic men. I don't know what you want.
You see Ponce goes, "Hi, what? Hey, what? What?"
Vic doesn't even look at Ponce. He's looking directly at Cat Lady. And it's like, I don't know what you came here for, but I came here to fuck.
There is a look of just astonishment. I'm trying to think here. I think you gotta unleash your dark here, because you're unleashing your dark to enforce your will on someone here.
100%. I'm gonna use 2 darkness tokens because I don't want to
Fantastic.
go beyond 4. Yeah, I'm at 4. Come on, give me low rolls. That's a low roll. Fuck yeah. 7. No, that's a bad.
I did it. No, I did it.
This sucks. 7's bad.
You greatly underestimate them. The
Yeah, that
keeper
makes
will
sense.
describe the desperate position you find yourself in. You say, I'm here to, intimate relations. And you see Ponce, you didn't get the reading first off. Ponce is a little bit more of the A spectrum. He's not really, it's a little too forward for him.
Darn.
And you notice he kind of takes a step back and kind of goes, I think you're really cool and everything, but I'm not
No.
really, I still would love to talk to you, but that's a little too much for me. It's not really my, thing. And he kind of takes Hani by the hand, kind of go, let's go, Hani. Let's just, I'll talk to you again, Vic. It was a pleasure to meet you. And you see Gohani go, and she looks back. She gives the evil just stare, just like fuck you, and like walks away.
No, Vic,
with
Ponce.
Ponce.
That's her dub. Vic is really like, damn, that usually works.
I think in that instance, your hands become normal as you're like, it's that feeling of like defeat, and you don't feel as powerful anymore as your hands kind of And before you're really able to kind of get a bearing of yourself, you see the other three wombats here walking across the forest as you see they're going towards what looks like to be almost like a makeshift shed of some sort. So it's up to you what you would like to do.
Yeah. Vic kind of like is like Vic is really stuck on this. It's like I really thought I had game. I don't. Not today. Today's a loss. Today's a Vic L. And then sees them and is like, and then sees Ghost Pepper Man. And it's like,
just
like, why are they hanging out with that fucker?
I think
And
Eden
then
is
remembers that she did not tell them about any of the like information.
I think Eden is also like trying to talk to Misfit, being like, "Who the fuck is this?" Like on the way through the woods, like, why are that we're on a mission, Misfit? Why? Who the fuck is that? Why are they coming?
If I told you, you'd get mad.
What does that mean?
It means that you can't really handle the truth, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you? Eden
Hello, I am
walking.
Radu Tepesh. It is a pleasure to meet you, Eden.
Radu Tepesh.
Radu Tepesh.
They look at Misfit. Radu Tepesh.
He's here to help. And we need all the help we can get to figure out why there is sand everywhere.
You can just think of me as a friend of the family.
Vic, I'm so glad you're here to be a voice of reason. Radu Tepesh is here. What say you? We kill another vampire.
Clearly not a vampire, as you see him kind of like walking around in the sun, not burning at all. Clearly not vampire.
And I think at this point, like just fucking for flavor, I think we know like Radu is like a dragon or whatever, right? Was that information given?
No, you think this is just some man showed up.
This one hasn't told you anything.
That's fine. Could I make it like some sort of roll to like to figure out what the taste what this hot ass taste is? Like now that I get round 2.
There's no particular roll. You just roll 2d6 straight up. I would just say, just yeah.
Oh, sick. Is that, I don't know. I'm out. 9.
9. You don't notice it because they're hiding it almost like chameleon like it only comes out when they feel threatened. You can notice the scales along his neck that is blending in with his skin color right now. You can the reason why you notice it because you see the etchings of it as it's along his neck.
Vic's gonna make a close but wrong assumption. No, he's a fucking salamander.
What?
You know what? I don't really care.
Heat, scales, drag. Fuck you.
What? Okay. I'm sensing a lot of hostility from a guy you just met, so...
And I'm sensing a lot of hostility from a guy who attacked us not 2 weeks ago. Out of the blue.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have not attacked anyone. I am an innocent bystander in whatever affairs that you have.
He's telling the truth. He didn't attack me. We were kind of in the middle of a deal, actually, when I passed out or whatever.
Deal.
What?
Before we can continue this, you all begin to hear something inside move. Not in a sense of something heavy, almost like, not anything like scary at the moment. You just hear something like heavy stone moving in there. So clearly somebody's inside.
Inside what?
The production house.
You see it's kind of a production house. Right now it's like a makeshift like metal kind of shed. You see the AC units kind of going ham at the moment. Yes.
Question, is this movement sound unusual for a production, or is this like sets moving kind of sound? Like, should we be concerned?
It just sounds heavy. It's like, what do you have? It sounds like stone moving. Like, it's like damn, what kind of set do you have in there that you have heavy stone moving? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think Vic like clocks that and begins to move forward and then goes, ah. Okay. I'm not asking you a question. I really don't want to know anything about you. Eden, I forgot to tell you this yesterday. And I guess the rest of you could know this. There's like a devil around here.
What?
Yeah.
It actually makes sense. Some of us were
You
investigating.
mean me?
Not you.
You're normal.
You're not really a devil. I did a little investigating along the trees. Apparently, this island is, the markings that are there. Apparently, there also seems to be hidden inferno on the pages for other places around the island. Cultish in nature.
The runes that you found, were they... Which devil did they belong to?
Satan, if I'm not mistaken.
I saw, and Misfit turns to the whole group on the body, and I think they actually have the picture on them because they've been carrying it with them this whole time, and they pull it out, and he points to the body. These runes. They are Satan's, yes, but they're also my father's.
Is that a different picture than the one that we had? Is that the one that you got from Radu, or is that the key that we got earlier?
That's the
That was
key.
the
So
key.
you've all seen it. You just didn't really study it too much.
But you didn't know what it was. So I think Misfit pulls it out and explains.
I think Vic grabs it very quickly, almost instinctually, and it's like, wait, give me that. And I would like to use my move.
Please do explain it to the audience, as you're the hungry and you get a little something spicier with your
The
move.
better to eat you with, my dear. When you reflect on the keys uncovered this far, you may feed on an aspect of a key. The keeper describes how your body violently changes in response. Mark one condition to reflect how the transformation makes you feel. And I get to ask you 2 questions.
Please do ask your questions. Fire away. I don't think you have to roll, so you just...
No, it just happens.
Yeah.
What do my eyes feast on that others have missed? And I don't want to break it because that'll make Misfit mad. That feels like a horror. What? How does my... this is interesting. How does my blood... Actually, either. I'm stuck between what do my teeth tear away to reveal someone else's hunger? No, okay, I'm going with the last one. How does my blood purify the key and lead me to another?
With that, I'll answer your questions, and then you mark your condition here. What do your eyes feast upon that others have missed? You look at this picture, and almost not by accident, your other 4 eyes open. And almost like in a sense of infrared. You see it's like an instinctual switching between monochrome, infrared. It's kind of switching until you get to this almost purplish red-like vision. As you can see, the runes themselves are along the ground, forming what looks like to be almost footsteps. You can see what they haven't, in which this body didn't wash ashore. Somebody messed with this thing before it got there. And that doesn't make too much sense, as he was on a boat, he fell off, which means somebody either must have done it while he was in the water, or someone brought him back to the island and then threw his body into the current to bring him back. What your blood purifies is that vision itself almost shifts as you see in your vicinity those same almost devilish footsteps that lead into the production house.
Yep. And Vic says this to everyone, relays this, but it's very much in motion, because I think at this point, and I'm going to mark the condition lonely, because of literally what Vic just went through, and it's damn, another rejection, another person that doesn't want me. And Vic's 6 eyes open all at the same time. Her hands change and the claws open. And I think it's at that moment that Vic, like very haphazardly, almost breaking it old Vic style, reaches into the door, rips it off, and follows the the footprints and relays this information to everyone. Like almost the Scooby-Doo moment of like, I've solved the clue.
Vic! And Eden casts a vicious look at Radu. I'm not taking my fucking eyes off of you. And then turns and goes after Vic as fast as they can.
Hey, I need the picture back, Vic! And I think Misfit is also following.
With that, we all enter inside. And what is before you, this seems to be the production house, which you can see almost like entering in, kind of dark. You kind of hit the light switch. You can see there's two kind of main sections here. You can see what looks like to be the testimonials. They seem to have made a makeshift island set with a green screen behind it. Sort of like this very uncomfortable looking stone chair for the people to sit in. And then you see towards the left of that, kind of with the window pane glass, almost like similar to like a newsroom, you can see where they do all the editing, where all the programs are, cameras and whatnot. And kind of your vision leads you into that production area, Vic. And as you do, you can see that behind what looks like to be like 8 screens of television that are currently like looking all over the island, just, for, camera's sake, there is a button almost highlighted in infernal that is waiting to be pressed. That looks like it's just a mundane thing on a TV, but maybe it's not, since you can see it glowing. You mute it.
Yeah. And I think Vic throws the piece of paper either like behind in a way so that Misfit can catch it, or in a way that like Eden can, like somebody can catch it. Throwing it down and immediately almost like, get your ass out here, and like slams the button with their fist.
With that, almost like not by accident, you kind of smash it in and you see it kind of, you see the TVs turn, almost transmutate into stone, and the door begins to slowly, as dust kind of comes off. And you haven't got a sense of hunger yet, because everybody on this island, for the most part, in which you've seen, is mortal. Except for down there, as you start to feel something necrotic in nature is down these stone steps. Food, finally.
Yeah. I mean, unless anyone else wants to say something, Vic is going to go into monster mode.
Vic, what the fuck?
Is this how you guys normally operate? You just press shit and then hope for the best? I mean, it's not very effective.
Do you have an opinion on that?
I do. I have several tips that you can use to improve your
I don't need
technique.
your
I think.
tips. Thank you very much.
Well, I thought
We've
you were a
gotten-
scholar.
I don't need your opinion. Or your help.
I think we could use all the help that we could get. Come on.
Voice of reason, that of a monarch.
Soon to be. Vic, where are we going?
I think Vic, there's only one response from the people answering questions that Vic gives, and it's before Vic, goes Vic style. And I think if Vic turns, 3 of Vic's eyes turn and looks at Radu, and Vic's voice changes closer to that like voice that you heard in the laboratory, and says, "Because of what you fuckers did, I can see shit. So mind your business, Radu, or shut the fuck up and follow." And then Vic, like 6 eyes focus on the thing that they're going to. That miasma, I think, solidifies into like wings, and Vic jumps into. You say it's a door?
It's like stairs, like almost like concrete stairs, like that of a parking garage, really, kind of like, the big clunky concrete stairs that are going down.
Yeah, Vic jumps down, almost using those like wings that are similar to like the spider legs, and just like
as you just immediately, not giving two cruds, as you see Vic just go downstairs at a semi-fast pace. Does everybody follow suit?
Yes, I think Eden goes last.
I think Misfit waits for Radu to go in after Vic, because at this point, Misfit doesn't have any way to get there quickly, and so they're used to, I think, waiting and depending on Eden specifically to help get them somewhere faster if they need to.
With that, you all head down the stairs, and Vic, you are the first to see this. As you enter, you open up into what looks like to be some sort of concrete underground laboratory. As you see that it's got multiple machines of a silver nature, kind of newish. As you can see, it's still got that chrome of fresh off the press. But you can notice that there are runes carved into it. As you can see that there is something modified in that sense. And you notice there are a number of what looks like to be windows, or I'm in a sense of like viewing windows, that are littered up and down. There's about 2 floors of them, as they seem to have things in them, but you can't tell yet. But you can tell that the source of this magic is coming from these areas.
Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. So you're saying there's multiple options to eat at this buffet?
Yeah, it's a buffet. It's open. It's like there's multiple things, multiple,
Of
little
course.
snacks.
Of course, because the worst option is obviously to eat. I think those legs that were coming out of Vic, because Vic gets here first, no one can stop her. Those legs come back in, and Vic transforms another time. And instead of miasma, it's the mouths. The mouths spread across Vic's body. Maybe I think they first come on Vic's hands, where it was sticky before. Almost like she's tasting the air, and she's like, great. And then the eyes come next, and every single eye spreads down her arms, and another couple of other mouths maybe come like right below her sides, almost where the wings were going. And Vic wants to feed, basically.
With that, before you get your chance to chomp, you kind of go to one of these pens. It seems to be glass. You don't know how to open it yet, but that's not too much of a problem for you. What may stop you, depending on what you want to do, is as you get to it, you're not very hiding the fact that you're there. You notice that there is an individual, almost like back is not necessarily the figure, but almost like that zombie-like pose, their arm in the side, they're shaking their head as you see what looks like to be a combination of skin decaying and multicolored sand holding this individual together. And as you sort of get there, you see they turn their head as you see their eyes glowing in sort of that yellow nature and sort of going against the glass, tapping.
Oh, they're in glass.
Yes, it's like viewing glass, like in the sense of like police stations when they have I can see you, but you can't see me kind of deal.
Yeah, and I think there's a moment at which like Vic that actually makes Vic pause. Because I'm presuming that's Tear. Like, is it Tear's magic to a degree? Not being Tear, but Tear's magic.
You get maybe some sort of magic because it's got that sand he has. You don't know what's going on here, but you can just see this individual. They're kind of wearing shredded, almost like tropical clothes, so they look like a sort of a zombie kind of like tourist.
The guy. Is it the guy? Can I like clock that? Oh, I wasn't there with Misfits, so it doesn't matter.
No.
I think Vic just stops and it's like, you're ruining my dinner. And you're supposed to be dead. I don't know. Maybe Vic's gonna break him out.
Before we get to you, all the rest of you see this as well. Is there anything else that we're specifically doing in this area before I continue forward here?
I think the second that Eden sees the sand, like this whole time, they have not been focused on this goddamn mission. They have been so distracted this entire time, angry at Radu, freaking out about Misfit, like arguing with Vic. Heaven's not here. She's out sick. Like they're having a pretty, like they're super distracted and they are not on top of it. But the second that they see this figure, both of their kneecaps turn into sand and they fall onto the ground. Like they like just kind of like crumple into sand for a second and go fuck, and start trying to like pull themselves up out of it again, like halfway as they're trying to put themselves together as their monstrosity is starting to show, as they're starting to be pulled between two things that they are.
You see, Radu is laughing his ass off of like, talk about the weak knees.
Is this funny to you?
I don't know, Footloose, you tell me.
Is this funny to you?
A little
Is this
bit.
the company you keep, Misfit? Is
And
this who
wh-
you want your ally to be?
While this is happening, I think Misfit had seen the zombie-like figure and had seen the decaying flesh and the sand, and immediately I think had called out for Tyr and ran up towards the glass, kind of like tapping at it. Tyr, is that you? Tyr. And I don't know if I can roll for this or not, but I want to try and like recognize any semblance of my brother in this figure.
I'm trying to think here. It's either going to
Either unleash the dark or reveal your heart. I'll take either.
let's do a reveal your heart. We haven't done that one. I feel like this one's kind of a reveal your heart kind of moment. So you can roll. There's a number of options here, kind of you opening your heart to be try to sincere to this figure here. So again, you have your token to spend if you do wish.
I'm going to spend one of my darkness tokens on this roll, and then why? I got a 7. It's a miss.
Look at you. Yeah. All right. Something interrupts or undermines the moment. A dire warning, consequence, or an aspect of the mystery itself. The keeper will tell you what happens next. As you try to reach out to this creature, you begin to hear it all around. It's on the other side. You see there's another like figure, maybe a woman of some nature, their hair, skin ripped. They were in some sort of bikini that's kind of just ripped up, teared. You see another one, top floor this time, looks like to be maybe a shorter gentleman, cargo shorts, ripped kind of, open shirt. Yes. As you see one by one, and something clicks in your mind here. There was 20 contestants on the show. From what you're counting here, the contestants never left. Something happened to these folk. And as you're kind of, you notice a TV set begins to static as it begins to turn itself on. Do you approach or do you leave?
I'm approaching. I need to know if this is my brother. Somehow. Maybe. Please.
You approach. Is anybody following suit? No. Radu follows. But anybody else?
Eden and Radu are fighting right now, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
Look.
Eden's not following. It's because they're fighting Radu.
Is the TV making me any more hungrier?
There was a hint of magic, not like an appetizer. Not necessarily too hungry, but like, I could snack on that. That appetizer's in here.
Vic
So.
was gonna break the glass, but then I think a new snack appears. And Vic is curious, so I think Vic's gonna follow.
Fantastic. You go to this screen. That sort of white noise before you hear, as you see, it is a blue screen, VCR, as it begins to play. You see what looks like to be the guy that was there, Shane, the producer or the guy who's helping out, kind of go, all right, if this thing is working, hello, my name is Imperious, former head of Misfits cult. We are here now to try the ritual we were given by our new benevolent lord. May they rest. You see there is a number of cultists around what looks like to be a table. You are recording this, right? I don't want to make sure we do this. Okay, follow me. As you know, the once great Misfoot Devil of Lies has given up their position. I changed my name to Shane for them, but clearly that was not enough. No, we need more. We need more. And the promise of the end was snatched away from us. No calls, not even an email, not even, a text, or a fax or something. Nothing. And we were destitute. You see a number of heads. We were promised an apocalypse, and God damn it, we are going to get an apocalypse, right, brothers and sisters? Yeah. Woo. We have some friends in a lovely little city, and we have a new ally. So we shall bring back the proper Lord of Destruction. We are no longer concerned with lies. You hear go, we hate lies. That is right, brother. We love truth. We love calamity. For we were blinded by the glistening pecs of Misfoot, and we had our true heir here all along. You see the ashes of your brother laid bare on what looks like to be a slab, an altar. We have the ashes of the Chosen One, gifted to us by the benevolence of his lordship, Iblis. For now we recite a chant. Follow with me, brothers. 3 words needed for our new lord to rise. Death. Adapt. You see the sand begin to... and revive. Oh, great sin. You see the lights begin to flicker. You see the sand form what looks like to be a long claw-like hand. But the last thing you hear of, wait, what's going on? This is not working. You see before it cuts out completely. And the video itself ejects as you are left with the silence of the room.
Actually knocks like half of Vic's hunger out because it was so absurd.
That's Tyr. That's Tyr. That's Tyr. That's Tyr. They did something. They said something to him. That's Tyr. And Misfit goes over towards the multicolored sand zombie and tries to grab him.
It is protected by glass. Are you going to break it?
I thought Vic already broke the glass.
No,
unless
Vic was going to.
Not yet. He was going to.
That, to be clear, is that Tyr or is that like the dead people inhabited by Tyr's sand?
You don't know. They look like the dead contestant.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. And so I think.
Oh yeah,
Vic...
like out of character. I Misfit.
Yes. No, cool, great.
Yeah.
No, then Vic, who as much as they want to eat right now, is going to say, Misfit. That's not Tyr.
You don't know that. But you went wrong. That could be. Don't you see it? Don't you see the sand?
That is not Tyr, and you know it.
You see they're like thumping against, almost like they're trying to reach you.
What if it is
that dead contestant? Don't you fucking open it, or else you are going to fuck us right now.
What if it was heaven? What if this was heaven instead?
Y'all just don't know when to fucking give up. You don't know when to fucking quit. Why?
No, I don't. And Misfoot breaks the glass.
You break through the glass. You see Rado go, oh no. you see immediately red lights. And you see the figure kind of staring at you, Miss Foot. You have a moment. What would you like to do?
I would like to hold this zombie's face tenderly, the sand falling through my fingers. And I would look into its yellow eyes and ask, "Brother, are you there?"
It stares at you. And as you wonder, brother, are you there? You see its mouth almost like vampire light extend and immediately bite into your shoulder and takes a chunk out. I need you to mark a condition for me, please.
Any specific one? Or
I will leave it to you to decide your punishment.
despairing.
Fantastic. As you get this, and you see immediately almost zombie mode gets you on the ground as you see it's like trying to eat you, essentially, or try to keep biting you until you die.
Okay, I'm ready to step in now. Eden has been maybe fighting Radu this whole time, but upon seeing this, I think the sand that is spilling out of their body is the same sand that is holding these zombies together, and as it falls on top of Misfit, Eden's intention just pivots, just completely pivots from wherever they are, like, fighting Radu, and they reach out and they pull. And I want to try to pull all of the sand that is in all of these zombies out of them and into me.
I think you are pushing your limits here, so I need you to power through darkness. When you push your limits of your extraordinary supernatural abilities, straining to do the extraordinary or avert immediate danger. So you can darkness as well, darkness and spend. So as you will.
I would like to add, let's see. Because torn between, I'm going to add 3.
Fantastic.
11.
Overkill! Overkill!
Overkill, baby.
You are on the edge of disaster. Choose one. Marking condition to exert your better control of your powers, or let the keeper tell you how the situation is not under your control. Pain.
I'm gonna mark a condition, and
Okay.
I'm gonna mark lonely, I think.
Yeah.
Common theme. You see the rest of the sand breaks through as you absorb the rest of the sand that's sort of half covering the decayed body as it just drops. And with that, you begin to, you have to absorb, but it's a lot. And as you do, you get flashes. It's hard to discern, but the main thing you notice throughout all of this, you're brought back. You don't know what you are. You feel not of your control. And when you look out the window, it's raining outside, and you see what looks like to be the easiest thing for anybody in the world to know. You see New York City as it sort of shine and glimmer, but as the lightning strikes, you see a quick reflection of a distorted face that makes you retract back. And as you get into your body, you begin to hear footsteps from the top rampart come down. Well, is this not a fortuitous advent, my lord? Or should I still consider you a lord, even though you are not of title or name anymore?
Misfit is on the ground, and he had not fought back this zombie as it had come over him. They had in their despair, in their grief, I think just laid there and allowed themselves to be ravaged. And they kind of look very slowly over at whoever's talking. And they don't respond, they just look, this faraway gaze.
The great devil of lies. Not one for words. I would consider that a first from a man who wouldn't shut up about all his little things in the world.
Who are you?
I am your fondest later. Remember, we had a phone call about you wanting to change my name to Shane. Such a great boon, my lord. We were promised an apocalypse, and you failed on every account.
No, who are you now? You don't work for me anymore, so who do you work for?
Oh, that's a secret. We wouldn't want to spoil the surprise. But if you would like to meet my current head, you see walking down the stairs, you see the host of the show. As you see, as they step down, the white dress slowly transforms from fire into that of maybe a burning ember, as their form gets a little bit bigger, still sultry in nature of that most appealing of ways, as you see what looks like to be fire horns on their head. As you see them coming up ever so slowly, it's a great pleasure to meet you. We were never properly introduced, but Tia did love me very much so. He was to be my betrothed, as you see the finger, and something clicks in your brain. You remember your brother had an affair, but father stopped it. They had an affair with the devil of the crossroads.
Is this devil's name the same as this director Latanya, or is there a different name that I know them by?
This is a very long, complicated name, but Latanya was one they often use in their mortal form. It just kind of went over your head because, they were apparently imprisoned somewhere or they were exiled.
Latanya, how'd you get out? Weren't you supposed to be whisked away?
Let's just say a war in hells is great for recruitment. The legions of Satan in all their wiseness wanted me to even the playing field. And I thought, what better way than to resurrect a good old friend?
Friend is putting it lightly, isn't it?
Lover is quite sure your brother didn't know how to make true passion. Makes me shiver to this day. Well, that's a long, complicated question.
Where is
What
he?
is... I'd rather not answer. It's a little bit of a surprise. Wrong. Is that what you think? You think we wanted him back in his obstinate form? Tia was a little bit of an independent head. We made him more, a smile on their face, submissive. My client of mine required something. See, the little trick about your father, no one can kill him except for someone of his blood of power. Clearly, his children are not going to get the job done, so other methods are being deduced. Though your brother didn't really turn out to the way we want. But again, I don't want to say too much. It's not my forte. It's not my responsibility.
And everybody in the room can feel like a volcano about to erupt that exact moment before it does, that energy in the room. And I think you can see on Misfit's chest a sparking of different colors starting to come out, almost like a firecracker was starting. Are you using tear to try to kill my father?
As you're saying that, you do hear Aussie in your head. Hey, I know you want me to shut up, but I really think you should calm down. Going back in. As you see that
Latanya, are
coming.
you using tear to kill my father?
Honey, to say using tear would be the understatement of a year. We got plans for the big boy. And you would complicate that.
And Misfit gets up quickly, almost jumps up, and walks up to Latanya and pushes her up against the wall. Let him go. I'll help you instead. Do not desecrate tear like this. Let me have him back.
I'm quite surprised. Last time I checked, Shane. Indeed, my mistress. This was the abomination that killed their brother. I am very surprised.
I didn't kill Tyr. And if you knew anything, you would know that. But clearly you don't. So let better people take over.
Let me talk with my superior.
No.
No, I can't make this decision. I am simply a pawn in the greater scheme. If you truly want this decision, I have to talk to higher ups.
I need to know who we're working with.
Honey, you know the rules of devils and bargains. I'm not allowed to say that information.
Why is there, and I think Tyr pulls out the photo that Vic had thrown back that they had caught. Why are there both my father's and Satan's runes on this? Who is it that is bringing them together?
It's right there in the punish, sweetheart. Your father's runes, last time I checked, the only person with that kind of knowledge is, well, your father. It looks like maybe war got to his head. Maybe he's willing to see anything to see his true heir come back, as clearly his other children are quite failures.
And Misfit pushes up against Latanya on the wall when she says that, jostles her up against it a little bit. Don't run your mouth. If you can promise me Tyr will be released from whatever you are doing to him, if you can promise me that, I'll help you. As it so happens, I'm already trying to do what you're trying to do anyway.
Curious indeed. Curious indeed. And what say you? As they look to both you, Eden, and Vicious. Are you fine with this agreement if we do make such a pact? Non-binding, of course.
We don't need them, Misfit.
They have him.
And Eden just kind of like opens their hands and lets Tyr's sand like flow down their arms and around them. And it like moves almost like planetary bodies around each other, around their limbs, around their arms, kind of circles around their feet. You always had him. You don't need them. You can't trust them, Misfit. You can't trust them. You don't know what they're saying to you. They are lying.
And there's a look, I think, that come across his Misfit's face. It's the same look that they had earlier when we talked. Like, they don't know if you are either. They don't know if anybody's lying anymore.
There's like a flicker of desperation in Eden's face. True, Misfit, true.
Can you get him back?
Yes, I can.
You see, they give a little chuckle. That's quite hilarious, in my opinion. How are you to revive what has already been revived? In my speciality, and I'm no connoisseur of magic, but can you really trust that one? After all they did.
Excuse me? You have hardly
Well,
revived Tyr. You are using him as a power source and nothing more.
and you any so much better. Last time I checked, you wanted him just as dead as the rest of us.
That was a long time ago.
Maybe for you, but not for Bliss. Still remembers when you took a little trip downstairs and made yourself known. Remember? What did they think of you again? What was it, a pet, a dog? Something to just have on the side? You're just a
That wasn't
side
true.
piece.
Oh, you would know, wouldn't you? Devil of the Crossroads. As far as I remember, you were also thrown out of the House of Iblis.
Love, ain't it a damn thing? Well, we are beating around the bush. I would suggest we make a little bit of a comprise here. Let me talk to my higher-ups, let them see how the deal is, and we can proceed on merry way to your brother, maybe.
What do you want, Misfit?
And Misfit looks at Vic, looks at Eden, and talking to both of them. Can you get him back?
Yes. I can.
And Misfit, I think, still holding Latanya up against the wall, looks at her. And it's like he's going to explode on her, but instead that energy kind of pulls down. Talk to your superior, but nothing is binding. I make no deal here with you. I just want information.
Before they agree to this, Vicious, you see a power source that is not corrupted, not soiled by any magic, as you do see Latanya is within your heat range to eat, if you so desire. Are you sitting back, or are we indulging?
Well, you don't die when you get fed upon. She only needs to be able to talk, so Vic's gonna feed. And probably also on that fucking nerd in here too, just for good measure. And I would like to use the move Gnawing Edge of Hunger, and I'll use 1 token.
All
So
right.
you better hope I don't get an 11 or else she's gone. Oh, thank God, 9.
9. So what does that do in this instance?
So on an 8 to 10, I blunt the worst edges of my hunger and feed on only as much as I need, and I get to choose one. And I'm going to choose the third option, which is given to the euphoria of feeding and describe how I feel or create or replace my hunger condition, which the current one I have is lonely. And I think the last thing and I think right after Misfit says, like, go talk to them, I think that's the moment where, like, Vic snaps, and Eden would have known that this was coming because Vic has told you both all night to just give up. You keep chasing and you're going to break something. So Vic will be the thing that breaks. And there is like a rip open in the container that is Vic's body, where that miasma bleeds everywhere, and it's quick, almost like a blink. I think Radu might even like flinch a little bit, thinking that it's going to like get him, but it doesn't. It feeds on basically almost everything except for the consciousness of what is it, Shane, or whatever his name wants to be, just knocking him unconscious, and then feeds on all of the magic that Latanya has. And then it all back inside, and I think that's when Vic's eyes close, the mouths that were few left over are gone, the scales disappear, and Vic just
Misfoot, in real time, you see almost at that same super speed, you see immediately on the neck, or however you wish to feed Vic, as you see the life from Latanya, before they even get a chance to react, get drained completely as they're gone. They're not alive anymore. They were just murdered in front of your eyes as you see Vicious kind of just. As you see Shen go, oh, what the fuck? And you see immediately, I see you have chosen your allegiance, and begins to run up the stairs and trying to escape.
I think Vic just calls to him and says, stop.
Ah.
You're gonna die too. You're gonna do one thing, Shane. You're gonna walk your sorry ass to wherever the hell Latoya was gonna go. You're gonna make this deal for Misfit, and if you fuck it up, if any of you fuck this up, chasing your dreams, the same thing is gonna happen to you. Now go.
I do as I wish, but I will do as you wish, because I wish that your wish. I will go now and tell you of the Lord. If you do wish to meet with my master, head to the vulnerable Big Apple. That is New York City, in case you don't get that. But please, head that way. Don't try to kill any more of us. We will provide you transportation off the island, if you so wish. I have to explain now to everyone why the host is gone, as you see they go up the stairs. Scared shitless. Maybe you hear just a little pee come out as he thinks he's without earshot, and you just hear, but with that, you're all left in this room. As you guys kind of, is there anything specifically we do down here that can't be resolved upstairs? It is up to you.
I think Misfit just kind of quietly says, thank you, Vic. And then goes over to where Eden is falling apart in sand. And I think the last thing is just Misfit helping pack Eden together again, trying to bring him back into their normal form, and is just not able to make eye contact with you, but I think just quietly says, whatever information we can get will help you.
Eden is staring at you so hard, and they have been silent this whole time. Misfit, I said I could do it.
Help isn't bad. If you can do it, anything to make it work.
It's already going to work. I don't need help.
Need assurances. Backups.
Sure. You don't trust me.
Silence for a moment too long before Misfit answers. I do.
Eden is silent. They pull himself physically back together.
With that, let's do our last scenes here. As you do have to wait a little bit. It's nighttime. You can hear in the distance the show is still going on. The last picks are happening, but I'm going to assume you don't participate. You see, Miss, is there? Let's go around the table for any last scenes and thoughts. I'll start with Vic.
Yeah. I don't think Vic's watching the end of the show. I think Vic is in a way, unexpected. I think Vic has like taken up the role of like cult leader in this moment, like in the eyes of Sean.
There are some people here, they don't, it's just like, my great lord, what shall we do next? As they're like talking to you and Yushish and go, no, they're not no, they're not the leader.
I think Vic jumps on like, I'm assuming it's a boat, like a small boat.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I like that. Keep it up. You've got a lord until you take us to the one that we need to see. And I think there's a moment, there's like 2 beats. The first of which is the condition that I forgot, like I didn't replace. And I think the condition that Vic has is, it's not rage, it is more, I think it's something along the lines of hatred. There is a hate in the heart because Vic still has a condition. It doesn't get cleared, but it swaps from lonely to this focused, driven, goal set hatred of all of the things that keep fucking happening. And then I think Vic turns around and maybe using that power that like she just ate from the devil of the crossroads, looks at all of the people, looks at all of her friends, and then looks at herself and notices that she has chosen a path. Fucking give up already. And just looks and waits for everyone to get on the boat.
The camera pans over to Eden.
Eden has grabbed a shard of that glass container that the undead were in. And I think it's almost just like floating in front of them, suspended by these like latent glowing motes of sand. And they're speaking into it. They've like sequestered themselves off somewhere kind of far away. And they're talking to their reflection. You lied to me. Why didn't you warn me about this?
I think they take the form of Naomi this time, just to piss you off.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
I do not know what you mean. I simply told you should hurry up and complete the form. If you do not, then, well, it will be quite bad for all you children.
You didn't say any such thing. Why wouldn't you have warned me about this? They did it differently. That's not how it's supposed to be done. That's not what you told me.
Told, did not tell, did not do. I am not a puppet for you to summon up and to make demands of. I am complicated, yes, but no need to be so rude.
I gave you
Did your mother
everything
not teach you better manners?
Shut up and keep that word out of your fucking mouth before I break this glass. I gave you everything you asked for. Every artifact, every single piece of information, every piece of my life that you took from me for information, for knowledge. I gave it to you.
I think we have a bit twisted here. If I'm not mistaken, didn't this guy fuck your life up? Why are you trying so damn hard to bring back the person who is responsible for your pain? Personally, it makes no sense to me.
It doesn't have to make sense to you. It's ruining him.
Maybe destiny has a bit of a play here. Maybe I'm just standing aside to show you the true potential of your little boyfriend that you seem to still not grasp.
And what is that? What is that true destiny? One of anguish and pain? Caused exclusively by my inability to keep his heart in my fucking chest?
He is doomed to end the world. So, let him end it. If you're so concerned for their well-being, end the world, and then the two of you can live happily ever after on the scorched earth. It is quite simple. You make it complicated with all these feelings. But just simply complete that destiny and you don't have to worry about any of this shit. To be perfectly honest with you. But nevertheless, you still have time, as long as they didn't do anything else with the body.
Good. And the world. That'll fix everything.
Possibly. But who am I to know? I am simply a reflection in the mirror. As it dissipates, leaving your face.
And Eden looks at themselves before letting the glass fall onto the ground.
And we leave one last person here of Misfoot. How do we end on your scene?
Misfit had separated from the rest of the Mythics and I think was sitting on the edge of this tree line of the island and was poring over this photo again and again and again, looking at that shade, that blurry something that they think may be, that they are convinced now is Tyr. The weird facsimile, this submissive, subservient version of him that they brought back. And I think after a while of sitting there, they notice Radu walking on the island. And with great purpose, like a switch, they put the picture in their pocket and they walk up to him. Hey, can we talk?
Oh. Yeah, sure, if you want to talk, yeah. Are you
Not
feeling
here.
okay? Okay, all right. Lead the way.
And Misfit will take Radu's hand and will pull him to a more secluded private area. You have something against my father, right?
Indeed.
Okay. What do you want?
I don't understand your question. What do you mean? What do I want?
What do you want? Do you want him dead? Do you want the throne of my family's kingdom? What do you want?
You see him kind of holding Misfoot. I don't want any throne. You see there's a very long and pain history in his eyes when he says that. I really can't talk about it yet, but I understand what you're going through. I know what it is like to lose a brother through a great evil due to your past father's deeds. It is something we share in common as tortured souls. All I want is your father dead. Nothing more and nothing less. Mom has other plans for all of you, but I am not as complicated in my endeavors. I don't know how to lie. I do not know how to scheme. It is not in my nature. I just want your father dead and to pay for destroying my family's life.
You destroyed our family too. And for that crime, for both of those crimes, he does not deserve his life, nor does he deserve the throne. So, we didn't get to actually make a deal last time. And Misfit holds out their hand. What say you to a devil's bargain for the sake of your family and mine?
You see, there is a hesitance in his eyes, almost as if this was another offer made to him in the past. And with much reluctance, he grabs your hand and shakes. I agree to your bargain, but I must tell you, you're not equipped to fight your father. You need some extra training. Training that I will be able to provide. If
Well,
you
it's a good
agree.
thing. I do. That's a good thing that we're allies then, isn't it?
Indeed. Have a wonderful night, your lordship, as he ever so gently kisses your hand and proceeds to walk away.
And Misfoot, I think their hands still kind of hanging there in the air after Radu lets it go, walks away, sighs, and shakes their head, trying to shake the sand out of it that has lodged itself inside of his body ever since Tyr's death. And unable to do so, head completely full of it, like cotton in their ears. The Misfoot will try and compose themselves somehow, and not really being able to do so, I think will Aussie.
Hello, yes, are you quite done with your your tantrum? That's the word, yes, that's the word, tantrum.
This stupid vial is making it harder to lie. How do I? And they kind of just like gesture in the air as if Aussie can see, and they're not even sure if she can, but
I mean, I am keeping you under control. See, you see they lay out a very complex diagram of the suit. Your suit does a number of things, but to sum it up in a very simple term, I am acting as safeguards to prevent your emotions from getting the better of you. Now, theoretically, I could turn them off.
Let's turn it up.
I don't think that's a very safe idea, because,
No,
turning
we
them
need more safeguards. Let's turn them up.
You want more? Okay. There is this slight possibility. I mean, out of the calculations, it is only a 5% chance out of
That doesn't matter. Just turn them up.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want to hear the side effects? I mean, they're kind of.
Aussie, please.
Okay. All right. All right. I will do that for you as you begin to feel it hum a little bit more, and you feel as mortal can be. You see almost like the strength is sort of zapped out of you. It is keeping you armored to the teeth with these emotions, but at the cost of your strength.
Am I still ripped? Like human ripped?
Yes, you're still human ripped.
Cool.
You're fine.
That's
you
fine.
have that anatomy. Yeah.
That's fine. Misfit feels this lack of strength, but also feels like there's been almost a dam placed where he was feeling despair and anger and grief that never seemed to end. Now there's less of it. Still there, but he can push it back to the back of his mind. And that's exactly what he needs right now. So with that, they walk back to the rest of the group and get on the boat where Vic is waiting, and perhaps Eden as well.
As you head back to the boat, there was one last question I will ask, as this will determine the credit scene for this episode. Do you tell the division you're headed to New York, or do you keep that to yourself? Casey won't say anything unless they're at your discretion.
I mean, Vic would tell Casey that we're going to New York. I don't think Vic doesn't think that's a big deal. Vic's like, hey, we're like we're going to New York. Like we got a lead at the end of this mission. Like we're going to New York.
You want me to relay it back to the bosses, or are we keeping it?
I mean, I don't. No, Eden, you look like you're gonna say something.
No, don't tell them.
Oh, why?
They don't need to know. It's not important. It's not division business. It's our business.
I mean, it's kind of division business, don't you think? It's related to everything that's happened.
What if there's something in New York that they know about? Like, it doesn't hurt to have resources.
What could they possibly tell us that we don't already know? And why should we trust them anyway? No
Vic
offense, Casey.
looks at Casey. Yeah, Vic looks at Casey.
No harsh feelings, but I would suggest telling them, in my opinion, but I'm at your discretion.
We don't have to tell them what we're doing. We can just tell them that we're going to New York, and we're doing something. Like we're taking care of personal business. Tell them that we're going to New York for personal business.
Fine.
Fantastic. As that is relayed back to the head honches, we find ourselves in the halls of division. We see the director Ryan just speaking to himself. The fucking kids. Oh, yeah, let's go to New York. It's fine. Yeah, it's not like they're walking into a hornet's nest of vampires and demons and all other monstrosities, not to mention the hit. But what do I know? You see one of the guys gotta go, sir, are you sure about this? I don't know if exactly it's a safe idea to let him out. Well, I don't think we have much of a choice. But sir, to reiterate, you are the one who requested they be put in there and that we should not let them out under any circumstances due to the repercussions that may happen. I understand what I said, but they're going into a very dangerous city and they are very ill-prepared, so they're gonna need backup. Yeah, but we have a bunch of agents. I understand why we can't just send one of them, because the agents don't know New York like this individual. As you see, they kind of step up. You see they kind of go down into what looks like to be a prison area. Sir, are you sure about this? We let them out. It could spell very big trouble, especially they've been wanting to be out for a long time. It's fine. I have it under control. As you see, they find themselves at the steps of a cell that says Samuel. And that is where we shall end it for today. Yay! Thank you for everyone. I know I have some technical difficulties, but, it's the name of the game. But with that, in reverse order, please, players, reintroduce yourself and put those sweet, sweet plugs.
I think that means I start. Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer and producer. You can find me all over the internet at Lilith TTRPG. Today, I have been Misfit, who is having trust issues and having a hard time grieving. What up? That's so normal. So very fine. That's not going to have consequences, I promise. If you like my performances, you will want to see me in other things, and by other things I mean Itaewon by Night, which is over on Bad House RPG every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be our penultimate episode of the season. Next time we're going to be starting Seoul Fashion Week, so get ready for some very cool looks and a lot of violence. Who will die? I don't know. But with that, I will pass it over to CJ.
Hello, it is I again. I played Vic today. The hungry, the apathetic, the edgy, but she's valid. Anyway, if you like what I do, you can find me on Twitter at Classic Dragon. Drop the on Dragon when you search for me. And I don't think I'm into much right now. You can catch me at Big Bad Con with these lovely people. But if you don't know me, don't talk to me. Passing it to C.
Hi, everyone. My name is C. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet at C Plays RPG. If you liked what I did here tonight, playing Eden, you like what I do other places. So come check me out. Just generally speaking, I am the producer and I play an NPC over on Transplanar RPG. This Saturday is the midpoint episode of Arc 1. It is a fancy banquet episode. There will be a hot villain appearing. So you should tune in every Saturday at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. For that, we are also raising money to get over to Big Bad Con for our first ever live show, so check out the Ko-Fi. We have some giveaways coming up. We have lots of other stuff coming up. Listen to God Killer. Okay, good night. Chris?
And that left me. Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Cologne, and I was your keeper for these preceding evenings. I am working on a bunch of other stuff on here on my own channel, as well as other channels as well. So you can catch up onto all the updates on my Twitter. Well, it's still alive at VO_Cologne, COLON. With that, everyone, we hope you had a wonderful night. And remember to stay weird. Have a lovely evening, everyone.